rounds left on 3 different continents, Petter Solberg is dominating the championship. The chasing pack will be hoping for a fair wind and a full sail if they are to stand a chance of taking on the champ. Toppy Hakkinen hitched a lift at the Extreme Sailing Series to cross the Bosphorus as World RX heads to Asia.
Welcome to Istanbul.
Hello and welcome to Turkey for round 11 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. This is the second year World RX has visited Istanbul. The 5th largest city in the world, marks the gateway between Europe and Asia, and it's on the Asian side of the Bosphorus you will find the Istanbul Park circuit. Last round saw World RX visit a brand new track for the championship in Barcelona, and reigning champion Petter Solberg was looking a touch out of form. While a lot of the paddock would have happily taken Petter's bad day, his 6th place after the heats was his worst qualifying result of the year. Meanwhile, his main rival Timmy Hansen finished top in quali for the 4th time in a row, gaining valuable championship points in his quest to hunt down Solberg for the title this season. Despite his qualifying performance, Petter got through his semi to line up behind Hansen on the 2nd row of the grid for the final. The lights went green, and by the time the pack had reached the 2nd corner, it was Petter out front and unstoppable as the magic came back to the champ and he bagged his 3rd win of the season. Solberg has a 35-point lead in the championship, meaning if he finishes in front of 3rd place man Johan Kristoffersson and scores 26 points more than Timmy Hansen come the checkered flag here in Turkey, he would be champion for the 2nd time. Mathematically, it's a big ask, considering Hansen has been on the podium 5 times in the last 6 rounds. Canada was the odd one out, and that was due to a first corner dust-up with Petter in the semis.
Theoretically, yes, we can win the championship, but it's a long shot, you know. But my focus is to get the team behind me, flat out, focus as they are now, and do heat by heat, and then semi-final, and then the final. No further thinking, you know. It's just stay with the same approach like we've done the whole year. Yeah.
Peugeot Hansen have a very healthy lead in the team's championship, but there are still plenty of points available with 3 rounds left this season. In 2nd place, defending champions Fordo MSC will need to make their move now if they are to close the deficit.
Yeah, we are 77 points behind Peugeot Hansens, but in rallycross everything can happen. It's door-to-door racing. We race until the finish flag is out, and I know the team have been working really hard during the last couple of months, and hopefully we have something good coming up. The 3 last races for a year, so yeah, I'm all in. So
I think now the last 3 races, and we can do our best, and we want to push, and we want to be there where we were last year. It means we can catch the first team, and we can go ahead of the 3rd team. It means we are a good team, and I have a really nice teammate, and I think we can do it, and we will do our best and try to be there where we want to be.
Istanbul is the penultimate round for the RX Lights Championship. Kevin Hansen can wrap it up here in Turkey given the perfect storm, but realistically the battle for the title will be decided in Italy. Hansen would need to outscore Kevin Eriksson by 22 points and 3-time race winner Thomas Brinterson by 16 points to take the title here this weekend. RX Lights already has 1 winner here in Turkey. Tom Onslow Cole was the winner of the RX Talent Search competition held earlier this season at Lydden Hill. With multiple British Touring Car Championship victories to his name and experience in other classes too, the British driver looks set to make an immediate impact as he takes on Rallycross in Istanbul.
What a fantastic day for me. It was brilliant. It was something completely new. I've never driven on loose surface before. I've done the normal sort of preparation I would do come into an event, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to be okay on the tarmac bits. 19 years race experience should definitely pay dividends there. But on the loose, on the gravel, I've literally done the 6 laps I did at Lydden, so I'm completely open to learning everything I can.
Coming up, we've got highlights of the action from Heats 1 and 2, the best of the action from Heat 3. It's crunch time in Heat 4. We find out who makes the semi-finals. We have the Supercar semi-finals live, the live RX Lights final, and the World RX Supercar final live. Here's the track preview presented by Ion Cameras. Back to Turkey then, into Asia, our only Asian round of the year. 1,346 metres for the standard lap, 60% asphalt and 40% dirt. Anti-clockwise direction. We're riding with Andreas Backer. He tightens the belts just before he launches the car off the line. And away. So from the start, the lights are on the right-hand side, down towards turn 1. Concrete wall on the inside, and then onto new tarmac. There's more runoff, but you can see the exit is narrow. Onto the F1 circuit, and Andreas splits right over the AstroTurf and into the Joker lap around the outside. And then he comes in from the right to merge with the standard lap. Into a right-hander. We've seen some very close merges there in the past. You can't cut the corners because the tyre bales are right on the inside, and then it's a long left. Again, we've seen passing there and on the brakes into the hairpin. So into the hairpin and onto dirt. Andreas pulling the handbrake to set the car up. Very, very slippery during practice, but the track did dry out. Over to the right-hand side, and then over a small crest, and it dips down into a left-hander, drifting the car through before setting it up for the tightest corner on the track, a dirt hairpin. Again, handbrake to turn the car in, all the way across to the left. This is where Backer had lined his pass up on Hansen last year, through the right-hander. The jump is bigger this year. A little bit of air from Backer, and then into the final left-hander on the curbs on the left, and power down over the finish line. With Turkey's tight turn 1, Backer was the first of several drivers to back out of potential contact. He jokered on lap 1 and made the most of Toppy Hakkinen and Tord Linnerad's squabble to take the first heat win of the day. Peugeot Hansen's French ace Davy Genet got to turn 1 first in his heat race and set about trying to gap the field, but he hadn't reckoned on Timur Timosyanov chasing him down. It was close, but the Russian snuck by and took the flag. Race 3 was an SDRX whitewash. Petter Solberg crossed the line first with a lights to flag performance, with teammate Liam Doran close behind. Unfortunately, Doran was later disqualified due to his mechanics touching the car before post-race scrutineering. The 4th heat race was an all-Swedish affair. Hansen got a great start, while behind him Johan Kristoffersen got the better of Matthias Ekström via the Joker lap. Out front, Hansen's textbook run set the benchmark high, continuing his incredible run of qualifying form. On his World RX debut, Chris Solberg was as sideways as his namesake, but ran wide and clipped the barrier. Later in the race, Alexander Wahl barged his way past 2, leaving Nitish clear out front. The Latvian's win saw him slot into 2nd overall. Liam Doran kicked off Heat 2 with a flamboyant display of on and occasionally over-the-limit car control, but ultimately PG Anderson was faster and got the win. Chris Solberg continued his World RX learning curve with a great first lap, but a misjudgment on the gravel meant a spin for the Finn. The start of race 3 was chaotic to say the least, and resulted in Alex Danielson being given a 5-second penalty for his unique line into the Joker. In the end, it didn't matter, as his race ended in the tyre wall. Tord Linnerad had led from the first corner and took the win. Matthias Ekström came out in front from another very close start in his run. Behind him, Davy Genet and Toppy Hakkinen swapped places twice, with the Frenchman eventually getting the upper hand. Ekström set the fastest time of the day so far, a full 2 seconds faster than Hansen's Heat 1 winning time. In a fantastic final heat race, Solberg got the better of his competitors at the start, but his championship rival Hansen piled on the pressure behind. He got past, but Solberg got back underneath him. They continued nose to tail until Hansen jokered and just merged in front of Nitish and began hunting down the leaders. When Petter finally jokered, he ended up in a Ford sandwich, leaving Hansen to win the race, take 2nd in Heat 2 and his 6th overnight TQ.
I can't believe it's the 6th time we're standing here together and having this interview after the Saturday. You know, it's unbelievable how good it's gone. But I think it shows how fast the Peugeot gets up to speed. It's so natural to drive, and really when I finish, I just had a huge smile on my face.
Hansen at the top of the table again then. Matthias Ekström right behind him. Then it's Nitish with the world champion Solberg down in 4th. Just inside the cut at the moment, Timosyanov and Markland, Baumanis and Wahl are just missing out.
So that's the tyre stack of Matthias Ekström. We are behind the scenes here at EKS RX. Let's see if we can get a word with Matthias himself. He's just discussing with his engineers. Sorry if we could interrupt a second. Matthias, good job today. Very, very quick and in very good position in the qualifying intermediates.
Yeah, I think being honest, the trick is to be consistent. We have been doing good lap times the last couple of races. Also improved our starts, which is the key. So we're definitely happy with our performance, but still we're missing this jackpot event, and that's what we're hoping today.
It was great to watch you on this circuit, heats 1 and 2. There seems to be a lot of sideways. Talk us through what this Istanbul circuit is like.
For me, it's one of the greatest track of the calendar, because the first section is tarmac and famous Formula 1 track, last section. Then it goes into the gravel and the slippery part, and here it's so different slippery to many other places, and it's also flowing. So once I enter the gravel, it's more or less a combination until you hit the tarmac. So it's all left-right combination, small crests, and down to first gear, very important to get good traction. Then you have some small jumps which unsettles the car, so it's like a really good rhythm from more or less from the first corner on the gravel to the last, and that makes a very big difference when you get it right.
And key weekend for you in terms to get some team points, but also you could play a real part in the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, I feel some of the drivers, I think they can see that we are up there grabbing some important points for the others, but in all fairness, I'm here to try and get a big trophy for my guys. It's been a long year, hard work, and we visited the podium maybe a bit less often than we wanted, but we're not giving up.
Thanks, Matthias. Yes. So let's just quickly see if we can grab a word over here with Anton Markland. He's just on the bubble at the moment. Sorry to interrupt, Anton. After heats 1 and 2, you're just in the top 12. What was it like in heats 1 and 2?
I think I was struggling a little bit on first lap in both races. Especially in the second one, I had a bad launch off the start line. I was a little bit too optimistic about the start RPMs, was going too low, so it was all my own fault. So last out of the first corner, and then I had to work my way up, finishing P2 in the race, and the time was enough to be P12 during the night, so it was okay, I need to say.
And just quickly, what's the secret for heats 3 and 4 to get through to the semis?
Yeah, I really need to push. I'm hunted from behind, so it will be flat out and probably some good action.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Andrew Coley. On commentary duty with me this weekend is Guy Wilkes, who of course made the final in the UK round of the World Championship earlier this year, and reporting from the paddock, as always, is Neil Cole. On then to the early races of Heat 3. Christian Solberg ended up third off the start, but then he was alongside Danielson. Danielson made a mistake later on in the race. When it came down to the merge, it was Solberg and Danielson again. Danielson running wide, Solberg up the inside of him. He managed to hold on to that second place, while out front, it was Stoll who took the win. Race 2 saw the British bomb Liam Doran back on form. A very brave move around the outside of Rennie Munich. He was out front and set a fantastic heat time. In race 3, Timurs Yarnov lost out at the start, ended up fourth. Later on in the race, outbraked Baumanis into the joke lap. Fantastic move by him, which meant that when they merged, he was ahead of Val, and that was key, because later in the lap, this happened. PG Anderson, Val, Baumanis all together. Baumanis had to reverse out the barrier, while Marken took a clear win. 2 races to go in Heat 3. We've just got one car still to come up to the grid. There it is, Topi Heikkinen pulling up now to take his slot. Topi hitched a lift across the Bosphorus on the Extreme Sailing Series with the GAC boat. Of course, they're our logistics partner, moving the cars around for the World Rallycross Championship. Here they are then, Johan Kristoffersen on the inside, Robin Larsson next to him, then it's Linnerud, Davy Genet and Heikkinen. Kristoffersen, Linnerud and Heikkinen are on new tyres, we're hearing, so that should give us an idea. Looks like Hansen might be playing the long game with Genet's car, and Larsson thinks he can do the same. Who's going to get to turn 1 first? We are about to find out. Thumbs up from the Marshal. 5 supercars about to be launched. Oh, Larsson goes backwards a little bit. Good start from Kristoffersen. Kristoffersen on the inside. Linner and Davy Genet's trying to go round the outside. Genet out the barrier. Genet in the barrier. Heikkinen into the side of him. It's a big hit for those two. They're stopped in turn 1. I don't know if we'll see a red flag or not. Heikkinen is out of the car down at turn 1. Heikkinen's out of the car. We can see it from the commentary position. He walks away from the polo. It's stricken, and it is blocking a good half of the road. There he is. He's okay, that's the most important thing. Genet, I think, is trying to get out of the car as well. Genet's door is open, so he's cool too. That's the most important thing.
They're going no further, absolutely, but back to the race, obviously. You know, that was a really, really tight start, and as you said, with the wall on the outside, nobody was giving way. The only person that really gave a little bit was Larson, because he didn't get a great start, but he's right on the back of Kristoffersson here.
Kristoffersson leading then, 3-car race again. We've got double wave yellows underneath the competition at the start-finish area. Looks like they're going to try and continue the race. It might cost them a bit of time, Guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It continues a really narrow exit now with those 2 cars parked on the outside. It really will cost them heat time. I hope they realise what's going on. Kristoffersson won't have been sighted the first time round. Before last realising what's going on now.
Linnerud needs to be careful too. He comes through. We're watching from the competition. They're all clear. So down towards turn 1. Right, who's jokered? So we missed Linnerud jokered on the first lap. And we're waiting. Kristoffersson and Larson have got to go. So the 2 who are out front. Kristoffersson found some pace recently. In Barcelona, it looked like it was going to come down to him and Hansen. Of course, they touched in the first corner. They ran wide, Guy, and Solberg got on the inside. And somehow, even though they had that extra pace over Petr, they couldn't get back to him.
That's the thing, you know, and it's with this, once you get ahead in a race, it's so hard to make a pass unless somebody makes a mistake. With such as the level of attention to detail in the sport, that, you know, little mistakes can happen. That's what we see a sniff, like Tmasianov in the previous race, having a sniff of the inside. Obviously, cost them both time. But, you know, Kristoffersson's a great driver.
Larson, a real change in form in recent races. I think probably because the pressure's off, he's not so worried. This time they won't lose quite as much time because they'll know where the incident is. So they'll at least be able to line the car up. But look at the front of Häkkönen's car. I'm not sure they'll get that fixed, Guy. That is a massive hit. Could have affected the chassis. So Häkkönen's car with a big old hit. In terms of Teams Championship, don't forget, Genet's down there buried in the barrier. He was 8th. He was 8th prior to this, so they could get him with a decent run in Heat 4. He might make it through, but the danger men are at the front. So you've got Nitish and Bakarud, who are sitting in 3rd and 5th. So Ford, they're a fair way back from Peugeot. I think Peugeot are still odds-on favourite, Guy, but this isn't great news for them in the Teams Championship.
Oh, absolutely not. The only thing is, with obviously the Peugeot hit the tyres, Häkkönen's car hit the car, you know, much more solid impact. And hopefully that's just panels for Toppy's car. Hopefully nothing, you know,
too serious at the front end.
Too serious underneath.
If it's got back to the chassis legs, then they're in trouble, aren't they? That would be a big problem.
Intercoolers and things like that.
Kristoffersson over the start-finish line and onto the last lap. So him and Larson have both got to joker now. I think Larson might be in danger of going back here into the hands of Linnerud. We see Larson come past the car there. Here we go then. So looking, Kristoffersson into the joker. It's the next one that's going to be interesting. So here comes Larson. Larson into joker. Linnerud's got him, I reckon, Guy.
Absolutely.
It was closer than I thought it was. Look at Linnerud, smokes the tyres up. He knew he was coming.
Yes, absolutely. But Larson lost a little bit of time. We didn't actually see it in the second lap. He was right in the back of Kristoffersson, and all of a sudden he ended up, you know, a second and a half, 2 seconds behind him. Didn't actually see why.
Great onboard there from Linnerud, looking back on the handbrake, turns it onto the dirt. Look at Larson, takes all the road on the way as well. Lovely stuff. Here you go, onboard again, looking back. Clipping the curb on one side, over the crest, down into the left-hander. Look at Larson, hairpin's coming up next, and he'll swing it around the hairpin. There we go. Perfect example of the rear end sliding round.
Robin Larson's had great pace this weekend, actually, so, you know, obviously that little mistake in this heat, but he's lying 7th at the moment overnight, so hopefully it doesn't cost him too much time.
Kristoffersson takes the flag. Just the 3 of them going to finish. Larson's having a look up the inside on the last corner, but he's not near enough. Linnerud gets 2nd and Larson 3rd. I think all eyes are going to be on what happened at turn 1 and just how bad Häkkönen and Genet's cars are. Will they be able to continue? The guys are both okay. That's the most important thing, as we say. But we'll have a look back in a minute. Johan Kristoffersson with the win. Toward Linnerud is 2nd, Larson 3rd, Genet and Häkkönen with DNFs. Where do they go? So Kristoffersson down, Doran and Marken. This is a great run by both those drivers. Right, we might be able to have a look back at the start. Here we go. So, Guy, look at this. Genet tried. In fact, he got a tap, didn't he?
Yeah, and then the VW had nowhere to go, to the VW slid right to the exit, to the outside. Yeah. Watch this. Boom. Just floats him out, nowhere to go.
That's really, really unlucky for Genet. Genet got a tap, but more unlucky for Häkkönen, who had zero chance to avoid him.
Not of anything. You know, but that is the risk of going around the outside from P3 and P4.
Very, very tricky start to the day for Häkkönen and Genet. Can they get those cars repaired?
That's a great drive by Johan, but do you think that the Volkswagen Peugeot chicane at turn 1 maybe slowed him down.
Yeah, for sure, we see that, and he complained also. We was waiting for red flag, but as soon as the driver was out, they only wave with yellow flag. So for sure, we lose it there. That's a pity, but we should be happy that we was not involved in the accident. So you have to put it that way. So we are happy with the win. A little bit sorry for the speed was not good enough, but it's good. It's good for now.
Good luck. Thanks.
Thank you.
Practice start for Petter Solberg brings him up to the 4th slot on the grid. It is time for the final race of Heat 3, race 5. On the inside, Matthias Ekström. Next to him, Hansen. Then it's Nittisch, Solberg and Bakkerud. The 2 Ford MSE pilots, 3rd and 5th on the grid. They're sitting well overnight. Hansen, of course, with his 6th overnight lead-up in a row. Solberg not on the ultimate pace of the guys. And Ekström on the inside has gone for 2 new tyres on the left-hand side. What difference will it make on the run to turn 1? Oh, not a great start for Nittisch. Nittisch goes backwards. Ekström and Bakkerud and Hansen are level. Bakkerud comes around the outside. Oh, Solberg almost pushed into the barrier.
He's been hung out to dry there, hasn't he? Ekström got a great start from the inside.
And into the Joker lap then. Solberg's gone into the Joker lap. And in front of him, Bakkerud went into. The 2 Norwegian drivers have gone into the Joker lap together. Bakkerud seemed to do OK in turn 1. Hansen and Ekström down to turn 1 again. When you're next to each other and they both get to turn 1 first, the guy in second can come faster around the outside. The guy on the inside's got a break, but Ekström's managed to man it out and come out in the lead.
These 5 have a lot to lose, though, don't they? You know,
yes.
and they're the most experienced drivers really in the field, and their heads are turned on. They're switched on.
Yeah.
They know that, OK, if I have to give way and lose a second and a half, I just don't want that, you know, incident that's going to cost me a lot of time.
Hansen looking very, very racy behind Ekström. These 2 have made up after their falling out in Sweden when Hansen did a last corner move on Ekström.
Hansen giving Matthias Ekström the send-on then, a little bit of a nudge. Matthias didn't quite get the car turned in time, but Hansen got balked in the heat yesterday in Heat 2, and we weren't sure of his out-and-out pace. You can see here that he's on the tail of Ekström and pushing hard.
I was a bit surprised he didn't joker this. Remember yesterday, when he got balked yesterday, Hansen nearly always jokers first or last lap, doesn't he? If he's leading, he waits to the end like Solberg does.
Yes.
Yesterday, he jokered lap 2, got out of the traffic, made the time up. This
call.
time he hasn't. Is that because Ekström's fast enough that he thinks he can follow him?
I think it's because Bakkerud is almost closing in on Nittisch's tail now, and the gap is so small, so it's a big gamble. So if he follows Matthias and stays on his tail, that's a bigger train, 2 cars coming in that merge, and they've got the inside line to the right-hander.
This could go the way of Bakkerud at the rate this is going. Bakkerud is almost on the back of his teammate Nittisch. Nittisch sitting in 3rd. He's managed to close that gap up very quickly indeed. So Nittisch still going with the top 2, but Bakkerud, last year's winner here in Turkey, onto the back of Nittisch nearly. As we look at Kenneth Hansen, Kenneth trying to make the right call for the Joker lap. Are either of them going to go this time? Let's have a little look. And then this time Nittisch goes to the Joker, so Bakkerud's going to go up to 3rd.
Yeah, quite importantly, you know, OK, Ekström, you set the fastest lap and Bakkerud's just beaten it, you know, so the Fords have had to step up in pace, haven't they, over the last 2 events? You know, I'm not too sure why, but they've definitely stepped it up.
And what about this in the background? Petter Solberg, you see him there smoking the tyres up. He could have won a drifting competition yesterday with smoking the tyres up so much, Guy, but he just doesn't quite seem to have the pace of these other guys in front of him, and that is unusual.
Don't discount him, you know, Petter sometimes loses a little bit of pace in the middle of the, you know, heats 2 and heats 3, but he's always there by heats 4 and into the semi-final. He will make changes, he will evolve the car to the track which is evolving, and that's what the key is in rallycross. It's the driver, the engineers and the team working together to keep the car moving forward as the circuit gets more grip.
So Bakkerud coming up behind Hansen. You can see Ekström. There's Hansen. Where's Bakkerud? Not far behind him. And it's Ekström and Hansen have got to joker. Ekström jokers this lap. Hansen goes with him. They both have to. Last lap, Bakkerud is going to come through. Will it be tight between him and Ekström? Ekström's going to carry extra speed. He goes up the inside of Bakkerud. Bakkerud should be able to cut back inside him now on the right-hander. Bakkerud alongside Ekström takes his standard line, blocks Bakkerud off on board with Bakkerud now.
He's got a little bit wide, but it's not going to happen for Bakkerud. Bakkerud's had a great drive this heat.
On the gears down into the hairpin. Ekström into the right. Hansen's managed to hold on to 3rd place, so Nittisch wasn't near enough. But Bakkerud, what great tactics.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, after that start, you know, he wasn't hung out, but Petter was, and they both took the joker. But Andreas Bakkerud has been going at it hammer and tongs and made no mistakes.
And another little look up the inside of Ekström there. Ekström with the fastest lap of the day now. Bakkerud, though, is chasing him. So Backrud was the winner here last year, and they've made some evolutions on the Ford MSC car, which means that it does seem to have the pace. Could he repeat that today? Ekstrom takes the win from Backrud, Hansen and Nitish over the line. Solberg, fair way back in 5th.
Fastest heat time of the day, Matthias Ekstrom, but Andreas Backrud really impressed there, didn't he? Like you said, he didn't get the greatest of starts, but he had good tactics, went for the choke, and then just got his head down. And he kept charging. Yeah. He kept charging, and he had that character of Nitish to go after.
Ekstrom with the win, 402.0. Backrud with a 402.5. Those are the first two 402s we've seen this weekend. Hansen on a 403.3, then it's Nitish and Solberg. And here is where they slot overall. So the top 3 go to the top. Markland and Doran with a 4th and a 5th. Can Doran save it and get to the semis? Would be great if he can. Nitish slots into 6th. Solberg's not even on the front page for Heat 3. Look at the start. Backward round the outside guy. Look at this. Nitish got caught in a big old sandwich there between Hansen and Solberg.
It was good bravery from Backrud, actually. Seeing it back again, there was that much going on. We didn't quite know where to look, especially with the incident previously. But Backrud did a great job.
Solberg all the way out on the AstroTurf there. Into the hairpin, him and Backrud. Slightly different lines there. Backrud making more of a point of it. Solberg drifting all the way through. And this was the merge. Ekstrom only just in front of Backrud, but then this was where Ekstrom's racecraft showed for me. As he came out of this corner, he didn't end up on the inside. He managed to hold on to the position. Great job by him. Despite the pressure from Backrud, Ekstrom wins Heat 3.
Great win by Matthias, but that car is so fast. What a quick heat.
Yeah, it was a really quick heat. I mean, nearly all cars were really quick in the heat, and Backrud was close in the end, so... But it was good to take another heat win.
And those times just keep getting quicker, which is exciting for later.
Yes, for sure. I think it will be even quicker later on.
Thank you, well done.
Thank you.
Great job by Matthias Ekstrom. With that win in Heat 3, this is where he is, top of the leaderboard. Takes the lead from Hansen. Nitish and Backrud, the Ford MSC teammates, are in. Of course, they're trying to chase Peugeot down for the manufacturer's title. World champion Solberg in 5th. Kristoffersen, Markland, Timosyanov. Larson, Linnerud, Genet is in despite that DNF, so Peugeot might be able to say this. Rennie Munich just inside at the minute. Val and Heikkinen are just out, and will Heikkinen's car be repaired or not? Well, we can have a look back at some wonderful slow-motion shots of the hairpin. It's the hairpin where they go from tarmac onto gravel. Guy Wilkes is with me. Kristoffersen here, Guy, and you can see, just check the throttle up a little bit there as he got towards the exit.
Absolutely, Andrew, you know, but there's a very high-speed, wide tarmac section in the lead up to this hairpin, so very heavy braking, as you can see now with Hansen. You know, getting the car turned before the exit and getting the car straight. It's very, very important for traction out of the corner. You can see just as he exits there, now we have Larson coming to the side, and they're trying to get the car turned. It's a double apex corner, but here you can see they go deep. Here, Robin Larson probably a little bit too deep, just getting the rear wheels on the gravel. But the most important thing is he's getting the car straightened up, keeping 2 wheels. There's tarmac just on the inside, it's a little tiny sliver, and they're trying to hug that for as long as possible to get as much traction and get straight.
You could see Larson as well there. The rear wheel just locked for a split second. Here's the exit of the corner with Nitish. So some of them are making that V where they dive into what's effectively a double 90 left hander and then a little bit of handbrake to turn the nose in. And Nitish here, look, tiny input on the steering, then bangs on the brake and in.
Yeah, trying to be as smooth as possible on the gravel. Obviously, they're running what is, in effect, a tarmac tyre on the gravel sections. As you can see here, a lot of gravel on top of this. It has actually cleaned quite a lot, this section, but you can see the curb on the inside. There's more traction on that. They'll try and keep 2 wheels, or at least the inside front wheel on that for extra traction. And there's a big off-camber on the exit, so they're trying to hold the car straight in the exit there. Rennie Snittis, lovely transition from the left into the right there, and obviously now on the power.
And talking about transitions, this entire section of the gravel track, actually pretty unique in the World Rallycross Championship. Nearly every corner transitions into another. You get one wrong, and it affects the whole sequence.
Absolutely, and you can see here, Timosyanov, he's getting just a little bit wide and carrying a bit of understeer. Didn't quite get the transition from tarmac to gravel, didn't quite get the car straight. But as you said, these cars, you know, close on 600 brake horsepower, on gravel, on a tarmac tyre. You know, there are 100-metre straights here, but you rarely get the car straight. The car is going from oversteer, and then you're trying to transition into oversteer again, so you don't get understeer. You need to stay on the power for as long as possible and make sure you can get on the power. The last thing you want is to turn into the corner, find understeer, because then you have to really slow the car with a handbrake or something else.
Timmer on the exit and away in his Ford MSE car, trying to get the power down. There's just a short crest after that, and then he turns into a left-hander. The Russian driver on a recent run of form. Great to see the drivers in action here in Turkey. On then to the early action from Heat 4. The first race saw Topi Heikkinen and Davi Genet back out on track. The teams have worked incredibly hard to get the cars fixed, and they've done a great job. Yannis Baumanis was involved in a decent battle with Heikkinen. Baumanis, the Latvian driver, currently leading the European Super 1600 Championship on another outing with the Hansen development team here. Tried to get the better of Heikkinen, but a little bit too sideways in the hairpin. Heikkinen then made a mistake himself, but still it wasn't enough for Baumanis to get through. Sideways again, dirt flying. Out front, Genet took the win. Baumanis, unfortunately, his car caught fire. Problems with the turbocharger and the exhaust all weekend finally put paid to his chances. Very disappointing day for him, looking very promising, been quick all weekend. Robin Larsen got the best start in race 2. PG Anderson, again, another disaster away from the line. Max Pusher got away ahead of him, and when it came down to the Joker laps, Pusher was very, very brave when he rejoined and up the inside of Anderson. Anderson put him under an incredible amount of pressure, but Pusher, whose pace has increased all year and who recently won the Austrian Rallycross Championship, managed to hold him off, even with a bit of contact here from PG. Didn't push him all the way round, but Max doing a fantastic job to hold on. Larsen did a decent job of holding on to his own car, very nearly put it into the gully at the side of the track, but over the jump, held on through the final corner, and it was Robin Larsen who took the checkered flag. Next cars are pulling up to the line already. Heat 4, race 3. Stoll's on the inside. Christian Solberg next to him. Alexander Wahl, Alex Danielsen, and then Tord Linnerud. Stoll and Wahl are on new tyres. Danielsen has got new tyres on the front guy. Quick word before the start about the tyre tactics, why people are doing these different things.
There's a number of things you can do with tyres. You can either go for all around the car, or you can change front tyres, or even a side if you're going anti-clockwise or clockwise. Generally, the rally drivers will have come across this, even diagonal changes. You know, you're just looking to maintain as many tyres for as long into the weekend as possible. And however you do that, it doesn't matter. But what you're trying to do is maximise pace out of the car with not compromising speed by throwing too many tyres at it too soon, or not giving it enough tyres.
For the final and the semis, where you need to make it through, try and take those podium positions. Linnerud, the last car onto the line. The marshals lining them up against the jump start sensors. And we're nearly ready for the off. There they go, our female marshal crew. And then Chief Marshal at the front's going to give a thumbs up and run across the grid. And run he does, because these things are very noisy before they get ready for the go. Oh, it's a good start there by Christian Solberg, but Stoll's recovered on the way down towards turn 1. Christian Solberg gets pushed wide. Who's gone really wide in the background? It's Danielson who got pushed really, really wide, didn't he? Down towards the Joker lap. Who's going to take the Joker? I think it's Christian Solberg's gone in first of all, and with him, yeah, Linnerud.
Yeah, it was
on board with Linnerud now.
It was a very clean start, actually, but you just saw that concertina effect that Stoll got to that corner first, and because it tightened up and he was brave, he pushed everybody else just that little bit wider, and that's why Danielson actually ended up at the back.
Christian Solberg just ahead of us, of course, here for Albertech Race. He's done a round of the British and a round of the French Rallycross Championship this year, but yesterday struggled a little bit. He pulled the handbrake a little bit too much and had to spin around, didn't he? He's got a good car control, guy, but yeah, World Championship's another level up, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and we just had a quick chat with him before this heat, and he was saying the driver's learning and they're changing the setup, but yeah, this morning practice, he quite clearly looked a different driver in terms of his style and what he was doing with the car. Nowhere near as sideways as what he was driving yesterday.
So he's had a look at the data, you think, and decided that it's not the quickest way around the track. Over the finish line, Chris Solberg goes. Manfred Stoll, though, is the leader. Behind him, Alexander Wahl dives into the Joker lap. So Wahl into the Joker lap.
I think Wahl might have felt he was getting held up there, but let's look at the merge here. Danielson.
Wahl's got him,
he's
but
done him.
Danielson might try and hold on around the outside. That's a good move by Danielson. Very brave indeed.
Yeah.
Up the inside of Val. Val now's going to come up the inside of Danielson. Is he going to be able to outbrake him? I don't think he will. Of course, Danielson...
Great racing move from Danielson, and he stalled
Really
both
good.
the cars in the middle of the corner in the apex, and that didn't allow Val to get back up the inside.
Of course, that's where Danielson, all that experience in single seats and the various different things he's driven in the past will really have come into play. Very nicely done. Clean too, Guy.
Nice and close, this, isn't it? Good race.
Fantastic stuff. Oh, Val pushed into a spin by Solberg. Val just holds on. Solberg runs wide. I wonder if Solberg lifted a bit there, saying, I'm going to get in trouble from the, from the stewards. If you lift and give the place back, sometimes you don't get told off.
Not so much from the stewards. It might have been the fact that he knew if he kept going, he would have ended up in that situation with the car right on his bumper, and he couldn't have gone anywhere.
On board again with Linnerud. Look at the lead that Manfred Stoll has got. It's the straight from turn 1 down to the Joker lap. I think Stoll's going to come back out in front. He does easily. So Manfred Stoll back out in front.
He needs to do something in this race, actually. Stoll hasn't had a great weekend so far. He really needs to put the hammer down and get a great heat time.
Manfred Stoll is in 18th place overnight. Where did it go wrong? It was yesterday, 20th and a 19th yesterday, and 11th in Heat 3 this morning. So if he can continue well here, and a few people have problems, he might find himself moving up the order. I suppose he'll have been disappointed wanting to see when Hakkinen and Genet got the car repaired and he came out.
Great shot of this gravel section that is cleaned up so dramatically. There's no gravel left on the line. You know, it's definitely a slipperier surface than tarmac, but it is actually hardcore underneath with bitumen poured on the top, so it's still, drivers complaining how slippery it is and how hard to find traction. Remember, 600 brake horsepower, and they complain about finding traction with four-wheel drive on that surface. So if it was gravel, it would be even slipperier, and that's why we're seeing the heat times and the lap times become quicker and quicker as we progress through the weekend.
That was all
just touched the barrier.
Just saw that on board. Lovely to see Solberg just edging into it. Danielson's gone into the Joker. Danielson here, I'm afraid, is going to get dumped down to the back. Comes in behind Linnerud. Going to have to follow him through. I wonder if he hadn't got embroiled in that battle with Solberg who jokered, if he might have come out just a couple of cars in front. But there we go.
Yeah, into the hairpin here, Solberg, you can see he's trying to square that hairpin off. Gets good traction out of the corner there. Ahead of Linnerud, just gapped him ever such a tiny bit, and that's all we're talking about. Fractions of seconds here and there on a lap that is a minute long. It's quite long for a rallycross lap.
Very long for a rallycross lap. You can see there sections of turf in the track. And that's where the driver's guy are just saying, yeah, there's a curb on the inside there, a bit of grass as well. I'm going to have all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Extra track width. Manfred Stoll around the last corner. Checker flag has been unfurled, and he takes it. Stoll.
Oh,
wow.
Great time.
4:01.3 for Stoll. That's the fastest time of the weekend so far. So Manfred Stoll with the fastest time of the weekend so far, beating Ekstrom's Heat 3 winning time. So, Guy, what you were saying about the track then probably has been the cause of Stoll being able to go that quickly.
Absolutely, but you still have to execute as a driver and keep that car bang on the line.
Stoll with the win, 4:01.3. That's the new benchmark. Alexander Wahl, then Chris Solberg, Alex Danielson and Tord Linnerud. Stoll going in at the top there. Look, 2 seconds quicker than David Genet, or 1.7. Larson third, despite not liking the track, he's up there. This was the start. Yeah, Danielson on the outside. Slots in, misses the barrier, Guy.
Yeah, everybody's aware of what's just previously happened with Topi Hakkinen and David Genet. And everybody's been quite brave before that. So, you know, now you can see a little bit of hesitancy into that first corner.
Yeah, just being a bit more sensible. Nobody wants to retire. The end of Heat 4. It's your last chance to make through to the semis. A little bit of contact there, but Wahl held on to the position from Solberg. Of course, it all left Stoll outside. Very quick time.
Fastest time of the weekend so far, Manfred. That must have felt really good.
Yeah, we make quite a lot of changes on the setup of the car, and it seems to be that was the right way. Just, you know, go wrong way yesterday and today morning.
So do you think you've done enough to get through to the semis?
I don't think so. I mean, it's everything so tight and it's so difficult, but at least I try my best and looking forward.
How did you find all that extra speed?
Yeah, we just analyze where we lost so much time, and then my engineer and my team together, we find a different way, change the car completely, and it seems to be that was the right way.
Thank you, good luck.
World champion Petter Solberg allowed us exclusive behind-the-scenes access on track and at his team's HQ in Torsby to find out what it takes to win in World RX.
We have the best driver in the world. We have the best team, we have the best mechanics, we have the best car, we have the best equipment and tools. So how can we lose?
It's a pleasure to work for him because he knows exactly what he wants.
Petter and his team run an extensive test programme. The search for perfection never stops, no matter what the weather.
When it's raining, we don't sit down and freeze. We try to make the best of every situation that comes.
Obviously, working in a top team, you have to put in the long hours and be prepared to work in wind or rain or any condition, especially during testing. It's not a glamorous lifestyle like people think.
It's not a factory team like many other teams, but we still beat them.
We have the same dreams. We dream to become world champions again and again. We win together, and sometimes we have to take a loss together as well.
Well, we are in Turkey now, and as you can see, all the people in my team, they are absolutely flat out, very focused to get absolutely the best performance out of the car, and everybody wants to win. We like champagne, and that's very important.
We arrive on Tuesday night, and then we usually start set up Tuesday night, Wednesday, getting ready for the race, doing some technical setup work, finishing the car off on Thursday. Then we've done shakedown, and then we've done a final geometry setup, ready for the race.
It's all about the setup. We start with a tent. We work always as a team. You know, whatever we do, we stay together. We are like a small family. So we have all the tools we need, all the bolts and all the equipment right next to the car, which is very important because, you know, on the track something happens. Sometimes you have half an hour, sometimes you have 5 minutes, and you have to be, you know, that saves you time. That makes the difference in if we can make the race or not.
During the season, we in the team spending more time together than we do with our families. So of course, it's really important that everyone is happy and everything is working, and so it means a lot.
Everything we do, everything we have is on a top level.
Everybody wants to win. That's what we try and do.
Thank you, thank you. We work as a team, we relax as a team. That's why we are winning.
Race 4, Heat 4, getting towards the quick guys. Give you an idea of how fast the previous heat was when you see that Petter Solberg's in this one. On the inside, though, Reinis Nettisch, Johan Kristoffersen, Timo Timozianov, Rennie Munich, and then Petter Solberg. Well, Petter Solberg on 4 brand new tyres, Guy, very quickly before we hit the start.
Yeah, he's complaining he's struggling to find traction actually in the gravel part, which, as I said before, is not so much gravel, but he said he's struggling just to get the car to get out of the corner. So maybe, obviously, he's in race 2, so he's struggling for
ultimate pace of the guys in the next race.
4, yes. So obviously he wants to throw it at it now.
How's he going to throw it into turn 1? Very, very even start, but Petter seems to have the better as they run down towards turn 1. Solberg turns in across the whole of the field. Really, really brave by him. Nettisch has been done by Kristoffersen, but holds on. Nettisch slots into second place.
That's exactly what Petter Solberg needed. Exactly.
Into the joker lap goes Timozianov, and with him has gone Munich. So Munich's gone with Timozianov out front. That was super brave, Guy. You know, it's kind of win it or bin it, really, is it? When you're coming from P5 across the whole of the grid. Yeah. Can you spot a call that for you or not?
Yes and no, you know, that last second, you know, once he's past the apex, yes, go, go, go. Just that final bit of commitment needed to get past the nose of the front of the cars.
On board, looking backwards. On board with Petter we are. There's Nettisch behind. Listen to the throttle modulation through the hairpin there, just trying to find that grip. New boots, he's got to do it now. We've seen from Solberg, it's Manfred Stoll's time that the track is in top condition for a quick time.
Yeah, absolutely. Just getting quicker and quicker. It's going to be hard for us to keep up with, you know, fastest times.
Into the left-hander.
That's the fastest start lap time of the weekend. So that just shows you new tyres are making a difference, but also the track is evolving with every heat race.
Absolutely brilliant job. 57.9 was that? Oh, that's, of course, that's from the loop, which is just after the start. So, yeah, very, very good time by him. From the joker lap merge comes Kristoffersen back in front of Timozianov and Munich with joker behind him. Great job by Kristoffersen spotters there. He now needs to chase down that gap in front. I think Nittisch and Solberg will play it as late as they can, won't they? Try and unless Kristoffersen starts to respond.
Yes, absolutely. You know, I don't think the gap's quite big enough at the moment. But let's see, you know, the Joker lap time is obviously getting tighter and tighter as the track's getting quicker as well. So, you know, that's very difficult for the spotters and the teams to manage and react to.
You really need to get the Joker lap right as well. We can't emphasise this enough. You only do it once a run, so you only get one crack at that braking zone. Yeah, they're doing plenty of laps to the rest of the circuit, so they get used to where the braking zone is. Suddenly, you pile into the Joker, and Timozyanov, who's in this race, in the last one, just outbrake managed. But it's so hard to judge that braking zone, guy.
It's the highest speed of the cars on the whole track as well, so you're going from the highest speed on the track to the lowest speed on the track. Very heavy braking. Luckily, the car's in a straight line. Got a great race happening here. Nittisch is trying to cling onto the back of Paddock, but
fastest lap of the day, 57.9.
Paddock knows. I had a quick chat with him in his team morning, and you know he had a not worried look on his face, but he wasn't quite perplexed either. But just wanted to get out there and get back in the car. You can tell he was anxious.
Yeah. He's nervous competitor, Petter. You know, all those accolades through his career, but still says he gets nervous before, and I love that about him. I love the fact that he's honest about it as well and tells us. Timozyanov having a look up the inside in the background there, gets past Kristoffersen, but Kristoffersen's on the inside into the hairpin. Oh, he hasn't. He's done him, he hasn't. Kristoffersen absolutely bullish about that out of the hairpin, just was not having it. A little bit of tyre smoke from the contact, but great fight going on between those two. Kristoffersen not closing the gap down to Solberg and Nittisch. Guy, have they got enough?
Because he's got pressure from behind with Timozyanov. Those little incidents there are all costing them both time, you know, and they need to get in the back. This merge is going to be... Petter's done it easily to Nittisch.
Wonderful.
Yeah, both.
Fantastic stuff. You see the way Petter as well, they're turned in, tiny bit of handbrake on the way in, and then just he's on the throttle so early. You can see he gained a bit of time, and often he's the one who sets the quickest Joker lap time.
I was just about to say he's driving the car what seems to me a little bit straighter than before. It's a tiny dab on the handbrake there and balance it with the brake and the throttle. But yeah, Petter tends to use the handbrake quite a lot more than other drivers. Obviously, it's effective for him. Let's see here if he does. Yeah, just the tiniest touch.
And that's the left-hander before the hairpin. Here he's in the hairpin. We know he'll use it there, but that's just nip to make the car turn in.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Obviously, with handbrake release, you can change the balance of the car, but also you can lose traction as well.
Over the jump, lands, bangs it down again, turns it in, didn't need it that time. The car's unsettled from the jump. Solberg takes the heat race win. It's a 3:58. Oh, Timozyanov's got Kristoffersen at the last corner.
Kristoffersen made a mistake. He just ran deep with the pressure.
Unfortunate for him, but 3:58.3. Solberg goes 3 seconds quicker than Stoll. That is the first sub-4 minute heat time all day long. Brilliant drive by Solberg on new tyres. I wonder what Hansen's going to do with his boots. Solberg then taking the win. Very high benchmark set. Nittisch second, Timozyanov at the last corner from Kristoffersen and Munich. But my goodness me, this track is speeding up. Solberg and Nittisch in at the top of the standings. We've got one heat race to go. What are they going to do with the tyres? Look at then turn one, Guy. Look at this, bang, round the outside. So brave.
Confidence and bravery. We said he's anxious before, but when he's in the car, it's the best place for him. You just have to do your business, and you know that's exactly what he did. He got out front, didn't quite feel so much pressure from Nittisch. He was just a little bit further behind and on his bumper chasing him.
He likes Nittisch too. He always tells us how clever he thinks Nittisch is. Nittisch is a young guy. Petter takes great care to say how clever he is. He knows Nittisch won't do anything silly. Look at this move. Timozyanov up the inside of Kristoffersen. Kristoffersen's not having it, and then this was into the last corner. Okay, so he had a little bit of help. Yes. He had a little bit of help.
Petter, the crowd were loving that. Were you enjoying it? You've gone under 4 minutes, a very quick race.
It was good, but honestly, we have been struggling on... it's not gravel, you know, it's like a very special surface that, I mean, unbelievable that we haven't had kept up with the Forge, Peugeot and Audis, and we have been working flat out, and the guys have we have done something more now for this, and it was in the right direction. So now we just have to do a little bit more and try to be top 4 in the semis. That's the main thing.
Thank you, well done.
Time for the final heat race then of round 11 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship from Turkey. Liam Doran pulls up to the line to complete the grid lineup. Here they are. Matthias Ekström on the inside. Bakkerud, last year's winner, next to him. Timmy Hansen with an incredible record of top qualifiers. Can he do it again here? And Tom Markland in 4th and Liam Doran in 5th on the grid. Matthias Ekström has new tyres on the left-hand side of the car. He did that in the last heat as well, so we know he's used all his tyres now, but he's playing a bit of a game to see whether or not he can just eke out a little bit more. Seems surprising, doesn't it?
Not really to me, because it's an anti-clockwise circuit and it's not going to damage him too much.
There we are, Guy Wilkes. Ekström saving tyres with a very, very clever tactic. Hansen with the best start down to turn 1. Is he going to do it backwards up his inside?
Ekström.
Oh, Liam Doran. Look at Liam Doran. He slotted in from the outside. Liam trying to go past everybody, but ends up in third. It's Backerud second. It's Ekström leading. Liam straight to the Joker lap. Liam was very fast last time out. Can he do it this time? Markland's got... Oh, Markland! Spin! Markland with a spin in the gravel. Oh, just out of the wall. Just keeps it out of the wall.
We've just seen two excellent examples of what you can do from the inside and what you can do from the outside of the starts. Petter Solberg, the last heat, went all the way around the outside, so he got a great start. Matthias Ekström, this time, he got a great start, was able to shut them all off, and keep driving across them a little bit, make them go around him.
And then Liam on the outside from Petter's grid, not such a great start, but sees everyone running wide. They're 3 abreast into turn 1, up the inside. Lovely job.
Clever.
Very clever indeed. On board again, bit of handbrake. Backward in second place. Remember, he was the winner here last year. We don't know what they've done, but we know there's a new package of parts on the Ford MSE cars. Sideways there, a little bit too sideways, but able to keep up with Ekström. And Backward and Nittish are on the pace here, Guy.
Absolutely, you know, like I said before, they've stepped it up a little bit. I don't really know the answer why, but yeah, today Backward in heat 3 was absolutely fantastic. He set the second fastest time and was really, really good.
Ekström leading from Backward and Hansen. None of those guys have jokered. Markland a long way back, just passes our competition now. Liam Doran is trying to get on the back of that train of cars. His last lap was his Joker lap, so it's hard to see whether or not he's on the pace of the guys or not from the timing screens. But these 3 just following each other around in a train, Guy.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Ekström, Backerud and Hansen, again, very experienced at this level. So I would expect them to run like this close to the end, and you know it's going to be who Jokers win. I
wonder if Backward might go, because Backward to me there just looks like Ekström runs wide of the curve. Backward kind of used it there over the jump.
Right. Timmy Hansen, unusual for him.
Yeah, Hansen with a mistake then, so Hansen's run wide. Hansen, of course, saving new tyres. It's worth mentioning, if he's not on new tyres, he hasn't been on new tyres all day, so the standard Hansen thing, safer set for the semis.
Yeah, absolutely, but that mistake was nothing to do with that. That was just a genuine mistake, you know, a half mistake, a small mistake, but he's lost a lot of time.
He has indeed. Hansen off the back of the group. Matthias Ekström, meanwhile, under pressure from Backerud, ups his game 57.6. This track is just getting faster and faster. Can Backerud do anything about him? Lap 3 of 4, they're going to have to joker. All 3 of these guys are going to joker. Hansen's in danger of ending up behind Liam Doran.
Absolutely, but I think, you know, Andreas Backerud's supporter now will be saying, just hold on to the back of Matthias Ekström. He's quick. He will know the lap times Matthias Ekström is running at. Just say, cling on to the back of him. You're on a good pace. Yeah, follow him round. Don't try anything too much.
Matthias Ekström is currently top. He won Heat 2 and he won Heat 3, so this is going to end Hansen's run at TQs if he stays where he is. I think Hansen's going to get the job done here, and Matthias Ekström will be over the moon if he does manage to take a top qualifying position.
Great shot of how super neat they all are. Even though they're using the handbrake, they're keeping it on the clean line, not too much, so you get a long, lazy slide. Getting the car straight and get them out of the corner.
Here we go, into the Joker lap, the leaders. Ekström, Backerud, Hansen's going to go with him. Look for Liam Doran in the background. Hansen might have enough time here, but Liam's closing him down. It's the British bomb against the Swedish ace, and it's Hansen who takes it. He's right with him, though. Doran's, it's going to be a good time from Doran, although Hansen made that mistake. Maybe not on the ultimate pace of the front guys, but Ekström looking impressive here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's driving very, very well. And he actually said to me, after the last heat, he made a setup change too far for Heat 3, so he's actually gone back to his morning warm-up setup. He said that he was understeering and had to force the car with a handbrake, so he definitely looks more comfortable this afternoon.
2 corners to go through the right-hander. Ekström is hunting down the top time of Petter Solberg, which was 3:58.338. Round the last corner. Is he going to win the heat or not? He won't need to take the overall TQ, but he crosses the line. 3:57.366. Ekström takes the fastest time of the day. He wins Heat 4. That's going to see him TQ overall. Brilliant job by the Swede. Great tyre tactics from him. It was Backerud, Hansen, Doran, and Markland still heading around the circuit now. So Markland on the gravel section with a problem. What a drive. The crowd know it too. Brilliant job, Matthias Ekström.
It was a fantastic drive. He did not make... I didn't see a mistake. I know he wasn't on the camera all the time, but he drove a perfect almost race then, and I'm sure he looked a lot happier in the car, you know, driving. He didn't have anywhere near the understeer, so that's a sign of a great team, being able to check back and go back to a setup that they know, and a driver also.
3:57.366. It's the fastest time of the weekend for Matthias Ekström. Bakkerud, Hansen, Doran with another good time at Markland. They're all on the first page. Ekström goes top, Bakkerud goes third, Solberg is in second place, and Ekström was leading the standings after this, so that should see him TQ through to the semis in first place. Watch Doran in the background here as well. Look, straight across, really good, really good. Markland really lost out, and watch Markland here into the Joker.
Just a little bit too hot, maybe got a little bit too much handbrake and just lost the back end. Small margins in the gravel, lost a heap of time.
He did indeed. This was him continuing. And okay, another spin. That's why he was so far back. So maybe a balance issue with the car, but either way, didn't go his way. It went the way of Matthias Ekström with the fastest time of the weekend. Pretty much destroyed the opposition. It is a great drive by him.
Matthias, that's the fastest time of the weekend so far, your top qualifier. Where did all that extra speed come from?
Yeah, we were changing the car slightly all the time, and I think we were reading the track pretty good. And everybody are fast, but it's just being a little bit faster than the others is what we are here for. And I have to say, my guys did good proposals for setup changes, and now we look forward.
Thank you, well done.
Well, there's a happy chap, Matthias Ekström, and this is why. Let's have a look at the standings. After qualifying, Matthias Ekström ends Timmy Hansen's run of TQs. Hansen in second, Bakkerud third, Nitish fourth. So both the Ford guys are up there trying to chase Peugeot down. Then we've got Solberg, Kristoffersen, Timosyanov, Larsen through to the semis again. Markland, Genet makes it in the second Peugeot, Linnerud and Munich into the semis. So Stoll, Haken and Chris Solberg all missing out but scoring championship points. Here's the split into the semi-finals. Ekström through to pole of semi-final 1 and Timmy Hansen through to pole of semi-final 2. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic battle. Last year's winner, Bakkerud, look on the front row with Ekström 2, and the world champion in that first semi. Cannot wait.
Well, Team Peugeot Hansen engineers still working very hard on the back of Davy Genet's car. Davy, incredible that you made it out to Heat 4. Talk us through what happened in Heat 3.
Yes, during the Heat 3, directly the first corner, I have a big crash with Thomas Heikkinen, and the car have a lot of damage. And for the mechanics, it's very, very hard. But they are a fantastic guy because the car is ready for Heat 4 and the time is no bad, 9. It's just for the qualify for the semi-final, but it's the goal. And now it's another race, and I must focus me on the race.
So you've got to focus on the semi-final. You're at the back of the semi-final too. Does the car feel 100%?
Yeah, for sure. I must me and the car 100%, but it's very difficult. The track is complicated for me, but now it's better. But I must qualify for the final. For the semi-final, I must to attack and push hard.
Push, push, push. Well done, Davy. Thank you very much. Let's go to the other side of the garage. We'll have to step over a couple of mechanics. Go carefully. See if we can get a word with Timmy Hansen. So, Timmy, you put yourself in the best possible position for your semi-final. How has it been going in Heats 3 and 4?
In 3 and 4 hasn't been as good as yesterday, really. I was really aggressive on Matthias in Heat 3 for a few laps, and then I did a mistake on my own, and we've changed a little on the car to fine-tune it a little, but gotten a little lost. So in Heat 4, I was not really confident, to be honest, and out of my rhythm. So now I think we have to find that rhythm again and find the way that the car used to work, and then we will be quick.
But there must be something that you can change or change back. I can see that there's also a few scars on the car. You've had contact.
Yeah, this is the first corner gets really tough sometimes. I did a fantastic start now, but if you're not on the inside, then it's difficult. So I'm happy to be second, and I think with the changes we'll make, the car will feel more to me again, like it used to do early practice and yesterday, and so then I think that I will get the confidence from the Peugeot that I always have.
And just in very short, like in 2 words, how is this track developing ready for the semi-final?
Oh, it's getting more and more grip, so we're expecting good lap times now.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
supercars are in the pre-grid. 12 drivers ready to fight it out for 6 spots in the final. Very much looking forward to this. The very best of the World Rallycross Championship about to do battle. It has been very exciting already, and we've still got the semi-finals and the final to come. Welcome to Turkey for round 11 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. There is the champion, Petter Solberg, waiting to get in the car. We're in Turkey. Let's have a look at how we got to this point in the season. Early on in the year, then lots of back-to-back events. We've now just got 3 to go, and of course Turkey sees us in Asia, our 3rd continent of the year. A long-haul event for the teams. Fantastic track, of course, that was built here last year. And looking forward to seeing these guys go at it for places in the final. Neil Cole will be reporting, as always, from the paddock. Joining me, Andrew Coley, on commentary this weekend is Guy Wilkes. Guy, brilliant action so far, and these guys, they'll be feeling pretty nervous.
Yeah, pretty nervous, absolutely. It's the last chance saloon, you know. This is the last shootout of getting to the final. It's semi-final time. It is do or die. It's going to be an epic battle out there.
Cannot wait to see it. That was Bakkerud. Of course, Bakkerud was last year's winner here. And there's Petter Solberg, who won last time out in Barcelona, the current world champion with a healthy lead. Neil Cole's down on the pre-grid just a short while ago, and he managed to catch up with Rainis Nitish, who is in semi-final number 2.
Rainis, it must feel really good to be on the front row for a semi-final with the clear track ahead of you.
Yeah, sure. We are finally back in business, I can say. First row for semi-final, and that's what we wanted. Now we are here, of sure. Feeling is great, and but we need to fight. We need to fight more, and we want first row for the final as well.
So you've got Timmy Hansen alongside you. What's the strategy into turn 1?
Just to take good start, and we both drive now with the new tires because we drove with one set of tires in all 4 heats. We'll see. It'll be hard. We are all in good pace now, and we have Kristoffersen behind me, and fight. I'm hungry for that.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Rainis, of course, who you see in semi-final 2 very shortly. Matthias Ekström putting his lid on. He will be lining up in semi-final number 1. Let's see how they got to those qualifying positions. Well, day 1 here. Petter Solberg's not on the pace. At this point, in fact, he managed to get it back from Hansen, but Hansen was on an absolute flyer. He won heat 1, Ekström won heat 2. Hansen was the overnight TQ again. Liam Doran was fast today. Good to see him back on form. This was Davy Genet, unfortunately, in the wall, and Topi Heikkinen very hard into the back of him, so not great for those guys. Petter Solberg again down in 5th place, just not quite on the pace of those guys in front of him. Struggling for traction, didn't know what to do himself. Matthias Ekström took heat 3. Larsen was looking really quick again. He's been on form in the end of the season, nearly threw it in the wall, but just about managed to hang on to it and take a win in his heat race. Makes it through to the semis again. Anton Marken at the back of this pack, not ideal for him, and then spun off into the gravel down in the Joker lap. While his teammate out front, Ekström, super quick. Hansen made a mistake in the background. Ekström took it, won the 3rd heat of the weekend. So Ekström on pole in semi-final 1, Timmy Hansen on pole in semi-final 2. They're joined by Bakkerud, last year's winner, and Rainis Nitish, his teammate, will be alongside Hansen. Looking forward to the action. Semi-final 1 will be with us very shortly. Rainis Nitish making his final preparations. He knows what's coming up. Let's let you know. First of all, then, the all-important semi-finals. 6 drivers in each, only 3 will go through to take those 6 spots in the final. We've got the RX Lights final for you live. That's the 2nd to last round of their championship. And then we have the live World RX final for round 11 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Neil Cole was down on the grid earlier on, as I say, and he managed to catch up with the pole man from semi-final number 1, Mattias Ekström.
Mattias, front row of the semi-final, give us an idea of how quick this circuit is getting and what the surface is like.
Yeah, I could see in Heat 4 the gravel parts were rubbering up and taking all the dust away, so they got a lot quicker. I said the tarmac haven't changed much over the event, so mainly the gravel section where all the loose gravel gets away, which makes a difference.
And what's your strategy from the front of this semi?
No, we want to do a good start. So far we've been good in Heat 2, 3 and 4, so we try to aim for a good start off the line and see if we can stay in front after turn 1. That would be the game plan, and if not, we'll just drive as fast as we can to the finish and keep the pressure up.
And what tyres situation?
We go with used tyres, 4 used.
Thank you, good luck.
Cheers.
He's been very clever, Mattias Ekström, with his tyres. Guy Wilkes pointed out earlier on today he was using new ones for just 1 run on the left-hand side of the car, so not the stressed side of the car. So they're used, but not very heavily. Sly tactics from him. It's his first TQ of the year. On board with Bakkerud as he lines up in 2nd place on the grid. Just clunking the car into neutral for a moment. And just a little quiet pause as he gets his head into gear as well as the car. Fellow Norwegian Petter Solberg pulls up on the line behind him. Solberg double checking that the car is in neutral, dips the clutch. Just the little things that they do, almost a little bit of OCD in the run up to the start, Guy.
Absolutely, you know, each driver has their own little way of bedding themselves in, getting themselves comfortable. Some like to be, you know, really aggressive in the way they pull up to the start line. Others like to do it quite smoothly after they've done their little tyre clean.
Mattias Ekström then on pole, Andreas Bakkerud alongside him. Petter Solberg is in P3, Timo Timosjanov P4. And on the back row of the grid, Anton Markland and Tord Linnerud. The Monster Energy girls are leaving the grid. The marshals just doing the final lineups. Some of the guys up in the spotters tower you're looking at there, you can see the rest of the crews down behind in the pre-grid area, still prepping the cars for semi-final number 2. And a great crowd here as well. You can see them too. They've been on their feet several times today, appreciating what's going on. There's Petter, selects the RPM on the wheel, clunks the car into gear, just a little glance down at the dash. We are good to go for semi-final number 1. Who's going to take this one? Who's going to make it through to the final? Great start backward. Disaster for Solberg. Solberg goes backwards. Bakkerud is in the lead on the way down to turn 1. I think it's Ekström who's got it behind him. Timosjanov then, and then Markland up to 4th. What happened to Petter, Guy?
I just bugged on the start, but Ekström also bugged ever so slightly, and that caused Bakkerud to get a great slingshot into the first corner and got around him.
Absolutely mega job by Bakkerud then. Only Markland went to the Joker on the first lap, so despite being happy but coming up from where he was on the grid, he was 5th on the grid, came up to 4th. He's gone to the Joker, so give yourself a bit of space. Petter Solberg, I wonder if he's going a bit slowly from the commentary position. We can see him, and Markland's on the back of him already, so has the world champion got a problem?
Never mind this, Bakkerud's getting away clean, everybody else is scrapping behind him. Remember, we're not racing time, we're racing for position. So this is massively important. I'm sure his team boss, Andreas Eriksson, will be more than happy. Bit of damage to Ekström's car there.
Yeah, there is. Ekström's wheel arch hanging off Timosjanov, and look up the inside. Linnerud behind him seems to have damage on the front as well, so I wonder if the 3 of them got into each other. Last year's winner Bakkerud over the jump, the whole of Ekström's wheel arch off. Guy, that won't really matter, will it?
No, it's superficial, but hopefully, you know, it doesn't distract him and start to flap up and get in his eyesight.
Anton Markland comes past us with bits hanging off his car as well, so the EKS cars are both in trouble. And we wonder if Petter is as well. As I say, Petter going slowly. He's gone back behind Markland, so Markland's got past Petter Solberg. You see Petter in the back of your picture going slowly down the straight. Petter goes into the... I think it's over for the... I think Petter is absolutely not going to make it through. It's going to be about where Bakkerud goes through. Last year's winner. The car's going well, Guy. What do you know about tyres as well for this?
Tyres, the only person who's on brand new tyres in this heat is Andreas Bakkerud, so, you know... Yes, OK, it will reflect a little bit of his pace, but his start was excellent, and now he's got a little bit of clean air, really has to focus, no mistakes, clean race, get to the final. Long way to go, though.
There is Bakkerud. It is indeed. It's a long lap here. It's a minute to get round a lap. There are 6, of course, in the semi-finals and the final. Ekström trying to chase him down. The 3 back drivers have all jokered, so Linnerud, Markland and Solberg have all jokered. Out front, Bakkerud, Ekström and Timosjanov have still got to go.
Yeah, Ekström is not being slowed by this damage on his car. Obviously, like I said, it just looks like a bumper on a wing. But he's not closing in on Andreas Bakkerud. Andreas Bakkerud has got great pace at the moment.
Bakkerud down towards the second corner. We've got smoke from the back of Timosyanov's car, so there's smoke from the back of Timosyanov's car. Is it tyre smoke? We think it might be. But Timosyanov's car in the distance, look in the background here.
Let's see.
As he comes into the left-hander.
No, definitely not. Just bodywork catching or something.
Coming off the right rear, isn't it? Smoking it up big time. Bakkerud in the number 13 car out front. And Ekstrom may be a little bit nearer this time round. Ekstrom certainly gapped Timosyanov, and that's going to allow him not to focus on the car behind so much.
But you can see from this shot here just how much this gravel section is cleaned up, and with what Matthias Ekstrom was saying about rubbering in. This base underneath is actually made of hardcore rolled rocks, really, with poured bitumen over the top. It's not like tarmac. It can get very slippery if it's wet, but the guys are getting, it looks like great traction, but actually getting a lot of wheel spin. So they're having to short shift out the corners, although it's a clean line, it's not necessarily massive grip.
So Solberg is now going slowly in the infield. We can see from the competition he is a long way back. Linnerud is also a long way off the back. Markland in fourth. Into the Joker lap goes Ekstrom. Ekstrom into the Joker lap. So Ekstrom's going to come out. Is he going to come out alongside his teammate? He just slots in front of Markland. So Markland now, is he going to dare to have a go at the boss guy, or is that you on dodgy ground?
I don't know. Racing's racing, you know. It's they've got to get stuck in, the pair of them, really, and they've got to do as much as they can to make sure they both leapfrog Timo. You know, Timo still has the Joker, so he might end up with two cars, Ekstrom Team EKS in the final. So, you know, they've got to make sure they're clean, don't pressure each other. And obviously, Anton Markland has to hold on to the back of Matthias Ekstrom, who has been the quickest most of the weekend.
It's hard for Markland, isn't it? Because if this doesn't come off, if this doesn't come off, Markland gets dumped out. Petter there, you can see very slowly, a full half lap behind. If it doesn't come off, if Ekstrom isn't quick enough, it's Markland who's going to lose, because Ekstrom will still go through in third. So hopefully, if these two can catch up, hopefully for them, they'll get past Timosyanov. Timosyanov, of course, be thinking exactly the opposite. Meanwhile, Bakkerud, look at the lead he's got, Guy.
Going about his business nicely, you know, 0.3 of a second faster, almost 0.4 of a second faster than anybody else in this race at the moment. I'll retract that, actually. Ekstrom just set a faster lap than him, but yeah, he's just going about his business very nicely here. He just has to keep cool. Remember, this is a race. It's whoever gets across the line first. Time is out of it.
Andreas Eriksson, you got a brief glimpse of there up on the spotters tower. We'll be talking to Bakkerud. Ahead of Timosyanov, of course, they run effectively out of the same team. They both run out of Ford MSC, but Timosyanov is an individual entry, whereas Bakkerud is one of the two works forwards. These guys, of course, currently the manufacturers' champions, and they will be wanting to chase Peugeot down. Peugeot doing a very good job. I mean, I think they're all done, Guy, but this is the quickest we've seen the Fords in a long time.
Yeah, and definitely a few weekends of racing, you know. They'll get a great shot. He's talking to his driver, Andreas Eriksson, and Andreas Eriksson spent a lot of time with his young drivers, Andreas Bakkerud and Rennis Nidders, and he's really trying to make shortcuts for them on the track and off the track.
Bakkerud into the Joker lap. Timosyanov's going to have to go with him. Smoke pouring from the back of the Russian's car. Is Markland near enough to Ekstrom to go through? Bakkerud is the clear leader. Ekstrom into second. Markland is ahead of Timosyanov. Timosyanov goes wide. He's going to try and get Markland on this last section of tarmac, but Markland has been dragged forward with Ekstrom, and it looks like the two of the EKS cars are both going to go through to the final. Bakkerud still leading from Ekstrom.
Timo hasn't given up yet. He's trying hard.
Anywhere to pass, Guy? Where's your money on? He's got to hope for either nudge him or hope for a mistake.
Yes, small mistake, you know, into the hairpin. If Anton goes slightly wide or outbreaks himself, let's see what happens.
Bakkerud through the right-hander. This was where he lined up that pass last year. Little nip on the handbrake, tiny bit of opposite lock. He'll pull a couple of gears over the jump, down a gear and in. Andreas Bakkerud, the winner here last year, goes through with a win in semi-final number one. Matthias Ekstrom, second place. Markland through in third. Timosyanov just misses out. But a great drive by this man, Andreas Bakkerud. He's looking on for another win here, Guy.
The start made it. He got ahead, and he just got his head down and focused on what he had to do.
Solberg, disappointment for the world champion. He's going to get 1 point from this. Hansen's going to see this as a great opportunity to make up some of the gap. It is still a big gap, but, you know, there is a chance if Hansen can get a decent result here that he could gap him by, well, take 10 or 11 points off him.
Yeah, absolutely, but as we've seen in that first semi-final there, anything can happen in this sport, and it's not to play anything out too much or dramatise it.
You don't need to dramatise it.
Yeah, quite literally, anything can happen.
Andreas Bakkerud with the win in semi-final one. Ekstrom and Markland, the teammates at EKS, will go through with him. Timosyanov, Linnerud and the world champion Petter Solberg are out. Look back at the start then, Guy. You said about Bakkerud.
Yeah, he got there because Ekstrom just bogged slightly. You see so much cleaner off the line there.
And Solberg looks like a problem from the start for Solberg, doesn't it? I suspect that the issue there that he's had during the race is from the start. Maybe when the high RPMs hit, something's failed.
I'm not so sure about that. You know, we've seen Paddock do that before in heat races earlier on in the year, so, you know, we're just speculating, really, and who knows what's happened.
Not ideal for him. That was a little clip of the barriers there. Almost taking a wheel off Ekstrom, but holding on, going through in second place. Neil Cole is in the spotters tower, and he is with OMSE team boss Andreas Eriksson.
Andreas, it was great to see Andreas Bakkerud doing so well there on the track. He seems to be in a class of his own in that race.
Yeah, it was really well. We worked really hard now to get everyone satisfied with everything, and small details fall in place, and it drove really, really well. So I'm happy, and everything is smooth, and we could save tires all weekend, and we're trying to save tires even in the semi-final. So hopefully he has the extra touch now in the final. We'll see.
Can he win here again like last year?
Yes, I think so.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the cars are on the line already for semi-final number 2. Let's see how they line up. We'll wait just a short moment for a look at the grid. Here is the lineup for semi-final number 2. Timmy Hansen on pole with Reinis Nittisch alongside him. Row 2, Johan Kristoffersen and Robin Larsson. And on the back row, Genet and Munich. So Hansen, Nittisch and Genet, we're hearing, are on new tyres. I wonder if Nittisch will get away ahead of Hansen. That's what Bakkerud did, but of course Hansen's on brand new boots, so maybe he can take the fight to turn 1. Can Kristoffersen do something from P3? We're about to find out. Semi-final 2, green flag is up. Oh, Bakkerud was creeping, he was so lucky. Nittisch, sorry, so lucky not to get a jump start, so lucky. The lever was moving, but he goes into turn 1 first. Hansen into 3rd place, Larsson comes around the outside of him. Kristoffersen is down in 4th, Genet up the 5th, Genet looking up the inside of Kristoffersen. Hansen goes straight to the Joker lap, so Hansen goes to the Joker on lap 1.
Larson's benefited out of that as well. Nittisch did exactly the same.
He was so close, yes, guy. I could see from the commentary box, we could see the lever was moving. I thought it was Bakkerud, of course, wrong driver, but Nittisch so nearly with a jump start, that was by millimetres.
Yeah. Obviously, it was clean, he's got away, and, you know, he'll be trying to do the same as what his teammates just done. These guys have stepped up since I last saw them, to be honest. And Andreas Bakkerud and Reinis Nittisch, they're really getting their heads down here and doing some business. He's in, obviously, the lead at the moment. He just needs to make sure he does exactly the same as his teammates. Larsson taking a hard time there from behind.
Yeah, he is. Kristoffersen and Genet behind. I think Hansen probably did the right thing to go when he did. Hansen coming up over the jump in the background now. You're looking at his teammate Genet sitting in 4th. Hansen's car maybe not sounding ideal, we're hearing. He's going to come past commentary now. Hansen's car has got a massive hissing sound from it, Guy. What do you think that might be?
Right, it could be a little bit of anything. Exhaust leak, boost leak from the turbo. It could be anything, but yeah, definitely. It's hard to hear with our headsets on with everything else that's going on, but...
And it's a bit of a shame, isn't it, because we want to see the fight taken to Peter Solberg, and at the minute, Hansen, he's not losing too much time despite that noise.
He's suffering enough. If it is boost leak, then just any amount of boost leak in the turbo...
You can hear it. You can hear the hissing sound from the track cameras. You can hear that strange hissing sound, which you don't normally get, but Hansen, as I say, not struggling for pace. He's catching up on the back of this tail. So it's Genet who's in front. What would you do team orders-wise? If he catches up with Genet, you've got to move him out of the way, surely, if you're Kenneth Hansen. Championship, World Championship.
Yes, but there we risk that at this early stage of the race. Final. Exactly. If you risk everything and you don't get a car to the final, that's the ultimate disaster. So Robin Larsson is actually doing a great job. He's got his head down. He's not worried about what's happening behind him. He's trying to close in on Reinis Nittisch. He's doing a great job. He's been very quick this weekend.
Susan and Kenneth up in the spotters tower looking down. Hansen's car hisses its way past us in the commentary position. And out onto the back straight there, you can see him. He's a little way off the back. Genet goes in now, so Genet goes in, and that's going to solve that problem because it's going to put Hansen ahead. So Hansen now free to hunt down the front 3. None of them have jokered.
It's a very clever strategy that from the team, because obviously if Hansen gets up to the back of Genet, it's not going to affect him too much now because obviously he's been given clean space. Genet is joking, he's into clean air as well, so actually very clean and good.
And if there's a problem for Hansen, they know Genet's right there to pick up the pieces. So
and obviously the spotters can talk and tell him to get out of the way if Hansen has too much of a problem.
They can indeed. Reinis Nittisch, the Latvian superstar, is leading. Are we going to see a Ford OMSE 1-2, a front row for those guys? It would be a massive turn up for the
Would
books.
that be a first?
I don't know if it would this year. I think it might be this year. I can't remember them both being on the front row. Maybe last year. But Nittisch leading over the line. You're seeing Hansen out of the last corner.
Genet still behind Hansen, but Hansen seemingly unable to close the gap. Guy, it's all about the gap now, really, between Kristoffersson, who you can see heading around the corner, and Hansen behind him. Do you think Hansen can make it up? How close is he? I think he's within 3.4 at the minute.
It's going to be, yes, I think he is.
That's roughly what we think the Joker is, isn't it? 3.5 seconds.
Hansen must be driving his guts out here, you know, because if he has got a problem, he is slightly down on power. He is really putting in some good lap times for that. But, you know, yes, it sounds like a problem. His lap time does look slower than what it has been this weekend. How much is it affecting him? Who knows?
And most importantly, can he get himself up into P3 at the end of the day? If he can get ahead of one of these guys, do you think Nittish is holding up Larsen and Kristoffersson? It doesn't look like it to me.
Absolutely not.
So the three at the front are heads down, going as fast as they can, and Hansen just trying to close the gap.
Exactly. You know, and that's what he has to try and do, because Kristoffersson on the back of these two in front, Larsen and Nittish, you know, he is the one that's under pressure at the moment, and it looks like he's going to be under some stern pressure as well.
2 laps to go, Guy. When do you send them? When are we going to send the guys off of the Joker lap? Is anybody... Nittish goes
is off now.
Nittish into the Joker lap. Is this to cover Hansen? I don't think Hansen would have been near enough anyway. Nittish is going to come back out on the back of the train he was in already. Great move by Border MSC.
Absolutely, because I think Hansen is actually closing. We're saying Hansen has a problem, but does he? Is it just a sound?
Yeah, is it just something rubbing? Something, yeah, on the car. It could be anything, as we say. You can hear it. We've been able to hear it for the whole race. It's a very, very unusual sound. Kristoffersson behind Larsen. Larsen would love to make it through to final again. He's retired from the last couple of finals he's made it into.
I'm sure those drivers, I don't know how they tick, but their spotters will be telling them absolutely everything. You know, one of them might be screaming in their ear, come on, you know, you have to push. You have to try and pass him. And I think Kristoffersson is the one, that is trying to get past Larsen.
I think he is, and unfortunately, I think Kristoffersson is the one. I think both these guys might fall behind.
Oh, who's that? Nittish got a problem.
Nittish slows, so Nittish slows. Good spot, Guy Wilkes. Hansen up the inside of the last corner.
Nittish has got him backwards. What's happened with Nittish then? We haven't seen what's happened.
Was it a problem for him?
Yes,
Nittish
he's going slowly.
Hansen just slots up the inside. My goodness me, nearly ran into the back of him. So Nittish, past the competition, he's going slowly. Rainis Nittish is going backwards. Into the Joker lap has gone Larsen and Kristoffersson. Who's going to make it through to the final? Larsen comes through. Hansen and Larsen to the merge. Larsen might go through to the front row of the grid. Hansen's alongside him. Uses all the track runs wide. Contact between them. Big mistake by Hansen. He comes out in front. Up the inside by Kristoffersson. This is unbelievable. Kristoffersson P1. Hansen's alongside him, and Larsen's going with him too. Wow, down to the next corner.
Whoa, he spun.
Hansen with a spin.
What's happening?
Larsen spins round the two Peugeot. Hansens are in first and second. We can see from the competition, it's Hansen from Genet and Kristoffersson. The dustman, you couldn't see it on the pictures, but my goodness me, the last lap has been fireworks. Nittish is all over the back of Kristoffersson. He's desperate to make it up into P3. In the background, Hansen's going to go through. Despite that noise all the way through, Hansen goes through to take the win in semi-final 2 with Genet second, Kristoffersson and Nittish. My goodness me, what happened there?
Who knows? We didn't see it. You know, poor Robin Larsen's just crossed the line now. There must have been some... We saw some contact in the hairpin off the tarmac of the gravel, but we didn't see in the right. I think that somebody...
wonder, when we see the replays, Guy, Hansen up the inside of Larsen, you know, he was off the track again. You know, will they say track limits? They're going to have to be very quick about it if they penalise anyone, because, of course, the final's coming up soon. Looking at our result now then, Timmy Hansen with the win in semi-final 2. Genet is second, Kristoffersson third, Nittish, Munich and Larsen are out. Larsen is chasing Hansen down into the pit lane. I think there might be words said, let's say. This is the turn, up to turn 1 then. Nittish, who nearly jumped the start, came so close. Larsen makes it through. It's really the end of the race that we're going to end up talking about, Guy, because at this point, we thought it was obvious who was going through and who was going to win.
You know, it looked dead set. But, you know, Nittish obviously had a problem. I thought maybe he might have spun, but there you can see he's slowed on the exit, but even before the hairpin as well.
So that was Hansen. So watch Hansen now goes wide, and Nittish comes back. OK, here's the merge. So it's from now. Watch Hansen from the exit of this corner. Hansen round the outside. OK, off the track here. I think they'll let him off that, but then here. No, he's not off the track, is he?
Yeah, he's down to the inside, he's level with the car.
Look at Kristoffersson up the inside. So here, this
opportunist.
Handbrake. Hansen then goes at the inside. Watch Larsen in the background. Watching Larsen in the background. So Larsen... It's Hansen who half spins, and Larsen's got nowhere to go.
Taps the back of Hansen.
Well,
and Larsen has nothing.
Let's hear what Neil's got to say in the spotters tower.
Kenneth, incredible race. First of all, let's deal with that terrible noise coming from Timmy's car. Do you know what it was, and can it be fixed?
Yeah, I just got it on the radio. It got some push on the exhaust, so the exhaust was blocked. so he didn't have any, real power in the car. But anyway, he handled the power he had very good. We could see that.
Certainly did. What an incredible race, dramatic and quite assertive from Timmy. It's good to see that.
I think so. It was very, very fair race also. Really good rallycross, and it's fun to see it this way when they really give the other one space and they fight about it. This is rallycross on the top level.
And both drivers into the final.
Yeah, that's amazing. We didn't believe that for sure. But, I mean, rallycross is rallycross and everything can happen. And our team never give up.
Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, he's right. Anything can happen. We didn't believe that both the Peugeot Hansons would be going through either. Absolutely unbelievable. Semi-final 2 was amazing, mostly on the last lap. Great stuff. Just wait and see how exciting the final will be. Crowd enjoyed that. They've also been enjoying action from the RX lights today. We've already had the semi-finals, and we can see who's gone through to the final. Semi-final number 1, Thomas Brinterson, who's won the last 3 events in a row, Guy. He got away ahead of Kevin Eriksson, and really from that point on, he was in command, wasn't he?
He absolutely was, but there was a fight going on behind and a lot of nudging. You'll not see these cars finish this heat in the same way they look now.
No.
That was early on. And, bumpers were flying and all sorts. But that's the desperation of trying to get through to a final in World RX, You
have to make the top 3, so, any moves on. Look at this. So this was, I think it's Hirani giving a push to Val up the inside of him here, and unfortunately there wasn't enough room. Caught the tyres on the inside, lost the bumper. All these parts are made locally. The Turkish people will be rubbing their hands together because they're going to know how many panels they're going to be sent at the end of this event. I think we've had 2 of them have rolled, haven't we? The rear of Val's car missing, the front of Hirani's, but really good, hard racing as well. Hirani's not scared of getting stuck in. It was Brinterson who took the win from Eriksson. Good job by them. Semi-final 2. Now this features Kevin Hansen. Alongside him, Tom Onslow-Cole, who won the MSA Talent Search competition. The first one we've done into a lights car, and we saw him this morning. Guy, hasn't all gone his way this weekend, but good job.
Absolutely not, and he's done a great job. He's improved with every time he's got in the car, every practice, every heat. He's just been gathering information, and he is a professional driver, really, isn't he?
He is a professional driver, but it was interesting, wasn't it, how much he'd done a lot of homework about this, but also the gravel was a big thing for him to overcome mentally. What am I going to do with the gravel? Kevin Hansen out front, championship leader. Tom Onslow-Cole went with him and was sensible to follow him. He did that a few times, followed the 2 Kevins and just picked up what their little secrets are.
And just remember, I don't think he's ever jumped a bike as a kid because he was tweeting about jumps.
Yeah,
as if he'd never seen one before.
He was excited.
Obviously not in the car.
Not like you rally boys, is he? I was suggesting to him this morning they ought to put jumps into GT races, but he didn't think the SLS AMG would have that.
Yeah,
so
and hairpins as well.
Yeah, with handbrakes, obviously with handbrakes. So Kevin Hansen nicely out front. Good job by him. Very nicely under control. Just inch perfect everywhere. Again, Tom Onslow-Cole said when he followed them, he'd make one tiny little mistake and they were gone. They just aren't making mistakes at the front of these
Kevin Hansen enjoying his driving again as well.
Yes. Saw him this morning, didn't we? He'd been struggling with setup, been struggling with enjoyment, and he said, I've just had a reset. I've had a reset. I'm enjoying my driving. Looking good. Onslow-Cole over the line in second. And this was, that's how they got to where they are now. The lights final are getting ready to get onto the grid. The crowd have been off to grab a quick drink, and they'll be back to see that. And then, of course, waiting for the final of round 11 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Well, the RX lights are on the grid, and they are just about ready to go. Here's how they line up. Thomas Brinterson, 3 wins in a row, 2 maximum scores in a row. He's on pole. Kevin Hansen, the championship leader, alongside him. Kevin Eriksson second in the championship, and Tom Onslow-Cole, can he make it onto the podium on his debut? Christoph Holovchik and Joachim Wahl on the rear. This will be good. Turn 1. These guys don't get away quite so fast, Guy, but they've got to get it dead right still.
Absolutely, but first position, second and third, there's Scandinavian pride.
Yeah,
at stake here.
They're not going to want the Brit getting in. We must try not to be biased, Guy.
Absolutely not.
Well, of course, of course. Well, we wish them all well. Let's get this underway. Really long hold. Good start by Brinson. Not quite so good by Eriksson. Kevin Hansen moves across. Tom Onslow-Cole's going to try and go around the outside. Oh, Kevin Eriksson into the back of him. Who's run wide? Nobody hits the wall. So Onslow-Cole is in third place. So it's Brinterson, Hansen, Onslow-Cole. Kevin Eriksson's going to go to the joker, and the 2 at the back, Guy. They go one. Well, they're going fairly
slowly. Maybe problems for them. Maybe problems for Val at the rear and Holovchik. But Brinderson out front, and Tom Cole putting Kevin Hansen under pressure. 6 laps now. This is more like an endurance race for Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. He should be more used to this, although he did say he was absolutely knackered after yesterday. How many laps did he
said that's Thomas Cole normally used to doing enormous stints in a car. The number of laps he did yesterday would be 3/4 of one stint, and he would do several in a race, and he said he was shattered.
He said the stress factor was much more, so much more intense.
There's so much going on, and particularly when you're still learning exactly what's going on. He's doing a very good job of learning it. He's got a decent guy. I wonder if Kevin Eriksson's got a problem. We're looking at Kevin Eriksson from the commentary position. He's over at the other side of the circuit. They're all going slowly, so these 3 might be away. So it could come down to a tactical race for the win between them. So Brinderson leading, 3 wins in a row. This guy...
He's on fire at the moment. He's had a great weekend as well.
Brinderson missed the first round of the championship. He was 3rd in the UK.
Tom gone to the Joker. He's obviously got clear space, so it's a clever decision to make now.
Yeah, it covers everybody off behind him. Tom's got absolutely miles behind, so now Tom needs to push, see if he can make up the gap. Brinderson the leader, 3rd in the UK, 1 in Sweden, Norway and Spain. 2 maximum scores in Norway and Spain. I bet Kevin Hansen and Kevin Eriksson are glad he wasn't here for round 1.
Absolutely, you know, I think that he could have been a force to be reckoned with, and he's proved it just time and time again. The few commentary positions that I've been in, he has always been at the sharp end of the lights, always been there, but so consistent with it as well.
That's what I was going to say, stays out of trouble, and particularly important when the cars are so equal. You know, the supercars are pretty close together. Kevin Eriksson with a spin. We can see from the commentary position, Kevin Eriksson has spun, so that's a problem for him, and that's going to put the championship firmly in the hands of the man who's in 2nd place. There is Eriksson. Kevin Hansen, who is in 2nd place, leads the championship coming here. I think it was by 9 points. I can't quite remember. It was close, and now Eriksson's going to drop further back. So this is good for Hansen. He's only going to gain a couple of points in the final.
That's what I was going to say. He's probably relented to the fact that, do I really need to risk having a fight with Brinderson? But I said there's that Scandinavian pride on it here. You know, Brinderson's not had it all his own way, but he definitely has in terms of the results. So, you know, I'm sure Hansen will be pushing like hell as he closes the gap, actually.
He does. Hansen closing down to Brinderson. I wonder if he's had the message. You need those extra points. Remember, it's 8 points for a win.
I'm sure we won't want to let him off the hook and give him an easy
No,
ride to
of
the
course
finish.
he won't. And if he knows that his competitors are out of you know, the fight behind, if these two hold each other up, which I don't think they will, but if they did, that could play into Tom Cole's hands in 3rd place. But Brinderson leading from Hansen. Hansen out-qualified Eriksson by 1 position, so Hansen's already gained 1 point on Eriksson in qualifying. He's now going to gain 4 or 5 here. There's 1 round to go, of course, in Italy in a fortnight's time. Hansen desperate to take the victory because the Swedish Championship didn't go his way in lights. Problem at the last event. But Brinderson and him continuing the fight. Hansen dives off to the Joker lap. Hansen into the Joker. Watching behind him for Tom Cole. Tom's a long way back down the straight. Would be expected. These guys are at the very front of the championship.
Absolutely, you know, and it's not a pity. It's actually very good that Tom Cole is obviously right on the back of Hansen. You know, he's proved this weekend that, you know, he can step up the pace. And okay, with all the experience he has, he's using absolutely every ounce of it, but at the same time, he's doing a fantastic job. As you see, Brinderson, you know, he is now gapped. Hansen's had a problem here. He's just slid wide, lost a lot of ground, and actually, Tom Cole might get on the back of him if he's lucky.
Brinderson still to Joker, remember. So Brinderson, your leader, still to Joker. Hansen, of course, took another point off Eriksson in the semi-finals. So it's been a good weekend for him, just little by little. Tom Cole can see Hansen in front of him, but these guys now, Brinderson,
has to get the hammer down now because obviously he's still left the Joker. Hansen already has.
When do you go? Would you go
He's
now?
going to go last lap.
Yeah.
He's going to try and string another lap together and try and gap him because the gap, I don't think, is actually quite enough. It's going to be very, very marginal. So he's trying to work hard this lap, get another clean lap, give himself maybe another half a second if he possibly can.
Behind him, Hansen's pushing hard. How do you judge that difference between pushing hard and making up the 10th that means you beat them on the merge and overdriving it, Guy? Where do you draw the line? Feeling?
It's very difficult.
And when your spotter's encouraging, Kevin likes a lot of encouragement on his spotting, Kevin Hansen. Some of the drivers don't like that. We've got a few people going slow at the back of the field. Brinderson still leading.
Sometimes we can actually hear, it's a very interesting point that we can hear some of the spotters and they're screaming in the driver's ear.
Push.
Personally, I would hate that. Not from it just distracting point of view, you know you've got to go fast. You want the information of where you need to be positioned, if you need to block off, or if you've got an opportunity to overtake, or somebody's going to cause an impact into you. But, you know, that's just the difference in personalities and what you want.
It's like when you look at Timmy Hansen firing himself up, and then you look into the car elsewhere, and you'll see people completely calm. Kevin Hansen also
has to go now, obviously, last lap.
This is it then, Joker lap merge coming up. Brinderson round the outside, Kevin Hansen round the inside. It is going to be super tight. Hansen moves across, tries to shut the door. Can he undercut him on the exit? Hansen across the other side of the road. Brinderson defensive. Hansen's going to come in. Brinderson will want to stay tight on the inside. Hansen's going to have a look. He can't. Brinderson does on the brakes early on the inside. He'll be compromised onto the gravel. Hansen will try to come past here, but great job, Brinderson.
Yeah, Tom Cole's actually getting closer on the back of them while all this is going on, because they're compromising each other so much. But half a lap to go. Looks like Brinderson's going to get it. Hansen's right on the back of it. We gave it a good go.
He did indeed. Kevin Hansen very, very nearly got the job done. Joker at the right time, but Brinderson had enough pace in him to hold on, and then most importantly enough racecraft when it came down to the merge and that run onto the gravel section. Brinderson backs everyone up into the final corner. Thomas Brinderson takes his 4th win in a row, his 3rd maximum point score in a row. 2nd place Kevin Hansen, and in 3rd place Tom Onslow Cole on his debut in the RX lights.
Great effort,
yeah, brilliant.
Look at the time that he's behind, you know, it's 3.3 seconds.
Over 6 laps too, you know. Tom will be absolutely chuffed to bits with that. I've known him since he raced Clio's when he was about, I think, 18 years old. Look at him, waving across at Brinderson. Yeah, that's a guy who's really enjoyed coming into a new category and doing a great job.
I think it's interesting to find the feedback from what Tom's experienced this weekend, you know, whether he's enjoyed it, because it's massively different to circuit racing.
I know he desperately wants to get in a supercar, and he said if this weekend goes well, he wants to do it, but all these guys want to, and Brinderson, 4 wins in a row in a one-make championship guy at 4 totally different circuits. What a driver.
Yeah, he is proving to be the class of the field, although you can't really write off Ericsson. He had a bad final then, a few mistakes, and sometimes you have an off day. Obviously, Kevin Hansen, he's been there. They're all there at the sharp end. It's very, very regular that those 3 are at the sharp end of the field.
Crowd enjoyed that. Here is the result. Thomas Brinderson takes the win, plus 8 points for him. Hansen with 5 for 2nd. Tom Onslow Cole with a podium on his debut. Val, Kevin Eriksson down in 5th, so losing a further 6 points here to Hansen. And Holovchik with 1 point for 6th. Right, from the start. Hansen looked really defensive to Kevin Eriksson. He's just thinking championship there, is he, straight away?
Eriksson got right in the back of Kevin Hansen then. And the thing was, Kevin Hansen actually bugged off the start a little bit. That's what caused that, I think, to be defensive and get across.
Clever move too, though. Covered off the inside line. Brinderson and the merge. Look at this, Brinderson. So then Kevin knows, doesn't he? Kevin waits and does the wide thing.
He's thinking championship. That's what he's thinking. He gave him plenty of room all the time. He didn't want to get tangled. He wanted to race him, but he didn't want to get, you know, balked or stuck in an incident with him.
Brinderson so good. Blocking everywhere on the inside, backing Hansen up where he needed to. Fantastic drive by him. Neil Cole has made it down to the finish line, and he's with Thomas Brinderson now.
Well, the crowd giving you a massive round of applause, Thomas, and quite rightly. What an incredible run of results you've had. How was that one?
It's just unbelievable. I have a really great weekend. We have been really fast all the heats and the semi and the final, so yeah. What can I say? I'm really happy.
4 wins and 3 weekends of maximum points. You're not doing anything wrong.
No, it's I've been 4 really good weekends. Sure.
Thank you, well done.
Thank you.
Fantastic job by Brinderson winning the lights final. But this is what everyone is waiting for. The supercars are onto the line for round 11 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship from Turkey. Last year's winner Bakkerud is on the front row. There he is. Can he do it again? Hansen, with that exhaust issue, did they have any time to fix it? Let's see the full grid lineup for the final. In just a few short moments we will. Bringing the last car onto the back of the grid. So we've got both the EKS cars and both the Peugeot Hansen cars. Kristoffersen able to fight on his own, and Bakkerud too. Bakkerud nearly joined by Nittish on the front row, but didn't happen. Supercar final then for round 11 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Timmy Hansen on pole with last year's winner Andreas Bakkerud right next to him on the grid. Matthias Ekström, TQ man on the second row. Davy Genet next to him. 2 wins for Genet this year. And then on the back row, Kristoffersen and Anton Markland. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to see the race to turn 1. Really hope they all make it through in one piece. On board with Bakkerud, staring at the lights already. The marshals at the front, they're going to get the thumbs up. Here we go, clutch down. Bangs the car into gear, anti-lag on, we're good to go, green flag. Lights out to really even start. Kristoffersen always into the back of Ekström, but Hansen has managed to get it. Genet goes sideways, Genet hit by Kristoffersen maybe. Hansen leads from Bakkerud, Ekström slots into 3rd place, then it's Genet into 4th.
Ekström squeezed down there, he's gone Joker straight away.
And Genet's gone with him.
Yes, but we've got 3 of the fastest drivers of the weekend, and no matter the carnage we've just seen in the semi-finals, obviously we've got Timmy Hansen, Andreas Bakkerud, Matthias Ekström in this race, so this is going to be fireworks.
It is indeed. Timmy Hansen wins the Monster Energy Supercharger Award for being first down to turn 1, and he is still first at the minute with Bakkerud behind him. So Hansen's car doesn't seem to be making the noise it was. Oh, Kristoffersen. Sorry, he ran Ekström wide, did he?
Yes, he just got him crossed up into the corner, and Ekström couldn't do anything, so had to go wide.
There we are, confirmation of the Supercharger Award for Hansen. Bakkerud into the back of Hansen. Hansen will not want to give up here. This is where Bakkerud... Oh, in the background, is that Markland or is it Ekström? It's Ekström. Ekström's been pushed round by Genet, so Ekström is out of this. Forget Ekström, he's done. It's Hansen from Bakkerud. This is the fight we saw for the final here. Last year, Bakkerud got the better of Hansen in the end. I reckon this is going to be a decent fight. Who's joking already? So the front 3 have...
Well.
Markland pulls off.
Right in front of us.
So Markland has done... OK, into the Joker lap. Bakkerud into the Joker lap. He feels he's been held up. Hansen stays on the standard lap. Erik Ekström's just come past us in the competition, so he is miles off the back. This is about who's going to get the top 3 positions and in what order.
Absolutely, and Kristoffersen's put himself in this position now to have a fight for the race lead as well. He's closing in on Timmy Hansen.
So Hansen leading from Kristoffersen. In 3rd place is Bakkerud. Bakkerud, though, has joked already. So Bakkerud has joked. He's in a strong position. Podium absolutely on. There's Markland. He pulled a handbrake turn around the hairpin the wrong way at the start and shut the car off into the grid area.
Timmy Hansen's got to work hard now because Andreas Bakkerud's on a mission. He's got a bit of clean air and he's closing in the back of Kristoffersen. We can't quite see it just out of shot, but Timmy Hansen here has got to work so hard to create some space between him and Kristoffersen.
Now Bakkerud really also needs Kristoffersen to joker now because Bakkerud in the background is caught up with Kristoffersen. Hansen out front in the Peugeot doing a great job, but behind him there's Kristoffersen and there's Bakkerud. When's Kristoffersen going to go? Kristoffersen stays. So if Bakkerud gets up to the back of him, he's in trouble because then he can't close that gap to Hansen. That's, of course, if Kristoffersen isn't quicker than Hansen. These guys are so fast, Guy. It was Kristoffersen and Hansen out in Barcelona until Petter took it in the final. Who's your money on?
Not a clue at the moment.
I'm tempted to go Bakkerud just because of what happened there last year and because he's suddenly got this form. We did the pre-event preview with him on Friday. It's his birthday next weekend. I asked him, would you love a win? He said, I'd love a win. I want to spray champagne.
I've noticed a slight change in his attitude. He's quietly confident. Usually he's a little bit, not ballsy, but he likes to have fun. And this weekend he's definitely been a bit different, and it's been a marked improvement in what he's been doing in terms of his driving.
Got a car underneath him that he likes. Hansen in the lead with a car that we know he loves. P2 here in qualifying. That's still impressive, though. He's been absolutely the form man for the last many events, setting records in World RX, 6 overnight TQs.
Kristoffersen's the man on the pace, really, at the moment. He's going faster than Timmy Hansen. He was 0.3 of a second faster that last lap.
Kristoffersen into the Joker. Kristoffersen Joker's now. Bakkerud gets him, so Bakkerud is now ahead of Kristoffersen. What was the gap like between them and Hansen? Is Hansen far enough in front? And if he jokered now, would he come out in front of Bakkerud?
I think it'd be very tight.
So do I. So do I. So do you see, if they think Bakkerud's quicker, yeah, Hansen's normally the quicker one, so they can wait till lap 6. Do you gamble on it? What are the lap times like? Bakkerud was quicker than Hansen by 2/10 on the last time. Yeah, the last time round.
Yeah, but it's so tight that it's all about mistakes now. They're all on the limit. They're all pushing so hard. This is the final, you know. They're giving it absolutely everything.
So tactics-wise, Guy, what would you do?
If I was Hansen, I would go right to the end. You've got to string laps together and try and get a gap. If he goes now, it's too much of a risk. Bakkerud, I think, is just pulling him in. We'll see this next lap time.
Hansen past the commentary position, over the start-finish line. Bakkerud following him. Guys looking at the timing screen. What's the difference, Guy?
Yeah, not quite 2/10, but, you know, he's just pulling it in a little bit.
He is indeed. Very quick from Bakkerud. But he's only got 1.5 laps to do it in. You can see that Hansen hasn't jokered. Bakkerud has.
Very smooth.
3.5 plus 3.5. It's so close, Guy.
Very smooth and committed. See him drive with a bit of understeer. I've not seen him drive like that in those cars for a long time. Very quick to drive with understeer, not oversteer, especially on these wide open circuit areas of this F1 circuit.
They found something with that car, we know that, because Nitish and Bakker, I mean, Nitish looked like he was going to win the other semi. Tiny problem aside, they were going to have a front row whitewash, yeah, exactly, for Ford MSE. Hansen with plus 3.5, we're on lap 5 out of 6. It's going to come down to the last lap and the last few corners. Round to the left. Oh,
and that's Genet and
yeah.
Ekstrom having a fight at the back. Ekstrom's obviously got going again from his earlier spin.
Okay, over the line, here we go, last lap. This is what it's all about. Timmy Hansen is getting a joker now, and Bakker has to follow him. What's the gap? Hansen to Bakker, 3.2. Bakkerud's closed him down by 0.3 on the last lap. Down to the merge, Bakkerud comes out. Hansen alongside him, Bakkerud tries to look up the inside. Hansen had that covered, though, moved across to the other side of the road to protect it. Hansen goes defensive. Bakkerud on the attack now behind him. He's got to do on this lap, he knows that, but Hansen again defensive on the brakes. Great drive by Timmy Hansen.
Good racecraft, you know, he's blocking him off at every opportunity. He was so tight, that merge, wasn't it? But you can see Bakkerud is not giving it up. He is trying everything. He's all over the back of that car, but can he find space? Will Hansen make a problem? Will he make a mistake? You know, it's just so close. Here we go.
Round the hairpin, Hansen does bog down. Bakkerud doesn't look up the inside. I don't think there's enough room through the right-hander. This was where he passed him last year. I think he's too far back. Hansen takes the jump, and then the left-hander. It's just a quick blast of the line. Bakkerud's right with him. It's a drag race, but Hansen takes his third win of the year. Bakkerud in second place, and Kristoffersen crosses the line in third.
We love you.
Great job, Peugeot Hansen. Brilliant win by them. We didn't think they'd make it, and Timmy has done it again. Bakkerud looks across. Respect from Bakkerud. Both those guys pushing, Guy.
Absolutely.
Wow.
It was a great race, and it was so late to call, wasn't it, with Timmy Hansen going so long into the race before he joked, but absolutely fantastic finish. In fact, that last corner, Timmy Hansen just bogged, and I think he had to kick the clutch, and Andreas Bakkerud just got into the back of him, but he had nowhere to go.
He's a little bit disappointed.
Yeah.
That second to last lap when he took 0.3 off him, I thought he's done it. He's done it. I really, because it was 3.5 before. We knew that was roughly what the gap was, and then he just wasn't quite close enough. If he'd done one more lap like that, but it's if, isn't it? It's the longest word. Well, third win of the year for Timmy Hansen. He equals Petter's win tally for the season. Neil Cole is with Kenneth Hansen right now.
Kenneth, there was a lot of shouting going on up here. You were driving that race with Timmy. What an incredible final.
Absolutely incredible. You know, Bakkerud and Timmy was so equal all the time. It was 1/10 down, 1/10 up, and it was just he could make it. But we needed to push as much as possible, but, you know, still stay in the gap so you don't lose the car or so. I'm in the car when it's like that, for sure.
It's great for Timmy, but it's great for the team and the championship.
Yeah, really, really good end of the weekend. I mean, we catch a lot of points for team championship, and I think we take a lot also on Petter now, so perhaps we can fight in the last race.
Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here is the result of round 11 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Timmy Hansen takes his third win of the year, just from Andreas Bakkerud, the winner here last year. Johan Kristoffersen third, then it's Ekstrom, Genet, and Markland with a DNF. From the start, let's have a look at how this panned out. So Hansen on the inside, Bakkerud next. Genet moves across the next one. There's a bit of contact here, look, with Genet. Ekstrom, though, bullies his way through into third place.
Did a good job of doing that as well. He was very strong in that. He's just pushed Genet out the way. Legally.
Ekstrom there. Ekstrom lost that on the brakes. He went to give it the send, and then Kristoffersen got the back of him. You think a bit?
Yeah, just in the transition from going, obviously, around the left into the right, it's literally a flick, and just he got into the back of him. Whoa.
And there, you see, that ended up costing both of them loads of time. This was the merge that we thought Bakkerud might have enough. 0.3 quicker than Hansen on the lap before. It was a hell of an effort, but it wasn't quite enough. Timmy Hansen took the checkered flag with Bakkerud right behind him, and Johan Kristoffersen in third. What a great final from Turkey. Good stuff, as always. Rallycross just continuing to deliver mega semis and finals. Guy, I think you can come again, because every time you're here, we have great racing. So you may have booked yourself a job.
I'm commentating as well.
That's the problem. Actually, yeah, it's quite good when you're racing, to be honest. OK, here we go. On board then for the final. Up towards turn one. This is Bakkerud. On board with Bakkerud for the whole lap. So pulling gears, look. settles in behind Hansen. Guy, talk us through this.
Yeah, he's very controlled. He is very measured. He knows he's lost the lead in effect, even though he's starting from second place. Timmy Hansen got a better start than him, but he's very smooth, as you can see here.
He looks relaxed. It looks like a qualifying lap in a GT car. It's so smooth.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember that they've got tyres for the whole weekend. They have 8 tyres they've got to use, so they might not have the best tyres underneath them at this point, but at the same time, we know that they start the semi-final with both the Fords with new tyres, so he's got good boots underneath him, and he's just pulling the gears, keeping it smooth as possible. Look how he keeps it on the clean line.
Look at this, tiny bit of handbrake as well into the left-hander, and then watching down here, so down a gear, look at that, and then nip round on the gas. And
yes, one pull of the handbrake, you see, that's all it takes. When you're on the money, it just get everything timed right.
I think he was quicker than Hansen through the hairpin, but Hansen, just that wonderful racecraft can hold him up, you know, I mean, particularly later in the race. Here again, tight and almost gets a drag, but
I've said it before, Timmy Hansen is always quicker than most people into the corner. He has a different way of driving. He drives much more around the front end, and Andreas Backer is always, well, before driven with the rear end. We see him go to the joker here, but it's always been with oversteer. But you can see here he's driving so much more, concentrating on the front of the car and trying not to get oversteer. Balanced.
There he
drifting.
is. Timmy Hansen, the victor. Championship lead has been decreased. Absolutely capitalised. Petter Solberg 6th in the semi too, and Hansen goes through, and takes a win in the semi and a win in the final. That's going to make it exciting with 2 rounds to go, isn't it? We were thinking the championship, it couldn't be settled here if Hansen made the semis, but we're thinking it's definitely done. And Petter now, that's going to make him nervous, and that's not what you need when you're trying to close out a championship.
He's got a lot of experience, don't forget that.
He
but
has,
at the same time, we've seen him look a little bit anxious this weekend when things weren't really going his way. And we don't know what happened in that semi-final, but absolutely, he lost points. Timmy Hansen has gained on him. You always feel pressure as a driver, no matter what the position. If you have a big lead, if you have a small lead, until you win that championship, it is never over.
He's just been eking away at it. There he is. He'll be feeling very, very pleased with himself, and rightly so. His 3rd win of the year. Overall, how many wins has he had? So that's Hansen's 4th career win. His 2nd on all-time to Solberg, equal with him this year on wins. You're looking at the top 3. Winner, Timmy Hansen on the left-hand side. Backerud 2nd place on the right, red race suit. And Johan Kristoffersson in 3rd. We're going to have a look at the Drivers' Championship standings. Let's see just what that gap is. 256 to 237. It is down to 19 points. So that's a big close down on the gap. What it was before, it was 208 to 243 coming here. So Solberg really hasn't taken a great haul of points, has he? Not his best qualifying again. He was 5th. And then Hansen, 2nd in qualifying, wins the semi, wins the final. Great job. So really closing the gap down. The race to the championship could go to the final round. We can have a look at a replay of the merge. So this is Hansen leading. This is the moment at which he just holds on, Guy. Look at Backerud in the background.
He was so measured on the brakes, Timmy Hansen, as well. They made sure he didn't overcook it. But Andreas Backerud, he didn't really have an option to go across him there because Timmy Hansen had such good pace out of the joker. It all comes down to those times, that gap difference. When you time that joker, it's so critical, and you can see there how close it can be.
When people come out of that tight merge and they go right, a lot of them make the mistake of going right early to the curb. Hansen, you can see, stayed left, so he was on the racing line. Then you don't get that double undercut on the next 2 tarmac corners.
What allowed him to do that was that he was 3/4 of a car ahead. If he'd have been level with Andreas Backerud, and Andreas Backerud had been able to force him across to the right, then he could have had a fight down to the next left-hander, where Andreas Backerud would have had the inside line.
I wanted to see that. Yeah, I wanted to see that. Yeah, I wanted to see a fight at the end. Yeah, it was a great race.
It was a great race. Yeah, absolutely. But we'd like to see it even closer. Can we say that?
Yeah, of course we can. Of course we can. We always want to see it closer. Hansen, that's revenge as well for Hansen, because he was leading last year and Backerud got the win. So, you know, 1-0, Susan Hansen, eye for the moon.
3 different manufacturers on the podium as well.
Great stuff. Teams Championship standings coming up next. Peugeot Hansen 417 to 338. That one is almost certainly, I think, going to be finished in Italy.
Great job by them, despite Ford MSC having the pace this weekend and Baccarat coming second. Genet making it through to the final. We didn't think either of them were going to make the final at one point, and then suddenly they're both there, and then Nitish has a problem, they're gone, and that's how Rallycross can change in just one lap.
Exactly. It was so close to them, neither of them making it to the final, and yet Timmy Hansen won it.
Brilliant. Absolutely stunning job by him and by Team Peugeot Hansen. Well, the event here, round 11 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship, has been fantastic. You're looking there at the circuit here in Istanbul. Wonderful, wonderful F1 track, very, very challenging, and we have a very challenging Rallycross track to equal it. Fantastic racing, the podium ready to go. Kristoffersson waiting at the bottom of the stairs. The guys getting ready to hand out the champagne. Right, this is Andreas Baccarat's on board from the last lap. So we're going to see him realising just the moment. So he sees Hansen go off his no
track
guy.
Adjustment, he's coming from behind. Sorry, Timmy Hansen.
Yeah, Timmy Hansen coming in.
So I think at this point...
There he is from the merge in. Lovely job.
And you can see how quick it happens as well.
So close, so close. And it was very calm and clean to the finish. Neil Cole is down in the podium area, is with our winner, Timmy Hansen.
Timmy, you've had a little bit of a chance to catch your breath since that race, but you're still heart-pounding. That was an incredible final.
Oh, I can't believe those 12 laps that you just saw live. It's, I think, the most exciting 12 laps of my life, you know. Sorry, I'm literally out of breath. And the way we fought through the whole semi-final, I lost a lot of power because my exhaust was hit, so it closed up. I had no power, so I went lots of gears lower in every corner, revved the engine, and still I saw I could keep up. Nitish came out in front, then he got a problem, I overtook, I lost it. That was just crazy, I don't know what happened, you know. And the final, I came out in front, and I thought, what can be worse than that semi-final? But the way I had to push, the first lap to close for Andreas, and then how I pushed through those laps, they were so good, and I couldn't have given it 1% more, you know, and to come out the Joker just in front and that last lap fight, oh, well.
When you went through the Joker, were you confident that you'd come out in front of Andreas?
No. Really, I didn't think it was possible because the way it sounded on the radio, it was like, this is life or death, and I just came in with my life. And I saw him, and I understood that I gotta get him into this right-hander. And I didn't have my left mirror, so I didn't know where he was out of the corner, but I closed and slowed down, tightened through there, and he was all over me the last lap, but I managed to stay ahead.
That's another win for you. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Great drive by Timmy Hansen, but what I'm really encouraged by, guys, the sudden pace increase from Nitish and Baccarat, because this means, you know, at the start of the year it was all Petter. Suddenly Petter's like, oh my God, the Peugeots are fast. Now the Ford MSCs are there as well. And in fact, we can have a listen to Andreas Baccarat's thoughts. He'll be disappointed that he didn't make it, but the pace of the guy is just unbelievable.
Andreas, it feels like a long time since I've interviewed you for the podium, but what an incredible way to get to the podium. Well done.
It has been way too long time since you interviewed me last time. This is really, really great for the whole team. They have been working so hard. It feels like a team victory, even though we're second. Hard battle with Timmy there in the final. I saw I was catching, losing, and yeah, it was an epic battle. He took the win at the end, but yeah, we was really on it, and I'm really proud of the team, that the way they have worked when we have been struggling. So thank you all, guys, and to all our sponsors as well.
It's good to have you back. Now enjoy your podium.
Thank you very much.
Baccarat with his best finish of the year. He got a third earlier on this season in Sweden. Other than that, he hasn't been on the podium. Could have been the top step, but it wasn't quite to be. We're looking back at some of the fantastic action. This was Genet, look, being collected by Heikkinen. Guy, it's been a brilliant weekend.
It has been a brilliant weekend. We've saved the best action till the end, as usual. But it's great to see three youngsters on the podium as well. Yes, yeah. We love Paddock, we love Matthias Ekström. We love most of the guys. It's a great Paddock atmosphere, but it's great to see three youngsters fighting it.
Ekström must have been disappointed. I mean, Solberg won't be happy that championship lead's gone. There's Ekström's teammate Markman running wide, but Ekström was so fast and yet he didn't convert it. It's his first TQ of the year, and look at this, Baccarat got him off the line in semi-final number 1.
And that's where it happened, really. That's where it sort of fell down for him.
A little bit of contact there for Ekström as well. Overcooked the hairpin. That gave Baccarat the breathing space he needed. He went on, of course, to win the first semi-final. There, look, Ekstrom clipping the barrier quite hard as well, it turned out.
Uncharacteristic as well, we must say. He's usually very, very super clean.
Checkered flag. That was Bakkerud going through. Semi-final number 2. Nitish beating Genet, I think it was, down to turn 1. And Nitish, we thought he was going to go through and lock the front row out.
Yeah, we have to say, we talked about the luck and bad luck of other people who maybe didn't express how much bad luck Rennis Nitish had. He looked like he had that in the bag, and he must be distraught.
Absolutely gutted, I'm sure. I'm sure there was a door open there on one of the cars into the...
Yeah.
It is, yeah. So door open action as well. Don't worry, though, he closed it on the car at the next bit of contact, so that was fine.
And this was the spin. Wrong for Robin Larsen as well. He'd had a great weekend up until this point.
Such a shame.
Shown such great pace.
Larsen relaxed now that things haven't gone his way earlier on in the year. He's just got on with his racing, and he's absolutely flat out. My thanks to Guy Wilkes. Great to have you here. Hope we'll see you back in a World RX car soon. It was all about the fight between these two, Timmy Hansen and Andreas Bakkerud. Hansen was fast, but Bakkerud very nearly closed him down. In the end, it was the Swede who took his 3rd win of the year. A wonderful event for round 11 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. We'll be back for round 12 in a fortnight's time at Franciacorta in Italy. See you then.